Blue skies and a perfect day for baseball here at the historic Labatt Memorial Park for a highly anticipated contest. It is very much the premier matchup of the weekend in the Inter-County Baseball League as the two top teams of the table go at it. The Hamilton Cardinals in town taking on the first place London Majors on MajorsTV. As we welcome you inside the Game Day London broadcast booth, I'm Ty White, joined alongside my partner today, Justin Koehler. It's a pleasure to have you with us from wherever you may be. Now, Justin, not the first time these two teams have met this year in 2024.
No, yes, they did meet in an exhibition game prior to the season getting going, and of course the exhibition games leave kind of a lot up in the air with lineups changing, pitchers changing, teams kind of messing around, but the Majors did come ahead with the win 5-1, so we'll see if that kind of reflects in today's game as well. But in any case, it's going to be a really exciting game, these two top teams battling. It's going to make for some good baseball today.
Now, the Majors played here at Labatt Memorial Park last Friday night where they saw the Kitchener Panthers hand them their first loss of the season. What can you tell us about that one?
Well, and it was the first time that the team actually scored under 5 runs in a game, so it was just tough to get the offense going, and a lot of that could be attributed to just the stellar pitching performance from the Kitchener Rangers that just held the Majors in check. So hopefully they're looking to turn things around, and with that, they've changed their lineup around a whole ton, with Victor Plaz being the only one to sit in the same spot in the lineup compared to the last game. Everyone else is being retooled, moved around a little bit, just to see where they can get the offense to click a little bit.
Yeah, a bit of a poor game offensively last game. Not too worrisome for a roster as offensively loaded as London is, but nonetheless, what an amazing opportunity to get back today in this marquee matchup in the IBL. But first, let's look up today's pitching matchup presented by Throw, London's original knife throwing. Manager Roop Chanderdat for the Majors giving Travis Keys the nod in this one.
Well, and Travis Keys has looked spectacular to start the season. He's played in 2 games, had a start in his last outing, went 9 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts, and it gave up 3 walks, only had 2 earned runs off of them, so had a really, really good showing, and he's sitting with a 1.86 ERA, so he's really looking to keep that momentum going into this game, and has definitely become one of the key guys in the lineup so far in the rotation, so they're really hoping to get the same kind of performance out from him today.
And on the flip side for the Cardinals, General Manager Chris Piano giving Owen Slater his start.
And Slater was a bit on the opposite end of that kind of a coin, where he, in his last outing, he's only played in 1 game, so he had the start, lasted only 3 innings, but during that time gave up 5 hits, 4 walks, 4 earned runs, and was only able to strike out 1 batter in the contest. So his ERA is a bit inflated right now, sitting at about a 12. So these two pitchers, when you kind of compare them side by side, Keys is really looking to keep that momentum going from the last game. Slater's looking to get some momentum rolling. So it's just kind of a difference in how these pitchers might actually approach the plate today, and both of them looking to prove that they deserve their spots in the rotation and really hoping to give their team a good source.
London Majors wearing their home white today, where on the road the Cardinals are wearing a similar colored white, a gray, a little bit ambiguous perhaps for the crowd here. What do you think about that?
Well, they don't like to make it too easy on us, and even in our last home game, the team ended up having the kind of Majors digital camo kind of jerseys that they had for the military day, and people in the stands, people at home might have had an easier time than we did up here in the booth in terms of reading the numbers on the back. So I'm happy that we have more kind of standardized jerseys today, but both teams wearing kind of similar colors might still throw us for a little bit of a loop, but it keeps us on our toes, you know? We can't get too comfortable up in here.
Keeps us on our toes, indeed. So, folks, don't go anywhere as the first pitch is moments away as the cream of the crop face off today in downtown London. You're watching the pregame show brought to you by PB8 Fitness, functional training for everybody, and this presentation of the Inter-County Baseball League on MajorsTV. Welcome back inside Labatt Memorial Park for this matchup today between the visiting Hamilton Cardinals and the home team London Majors from the world's oldest baseball ground since 1877. A great game today, the best game across the league in the IBL. The number 1 team taking on the number 2 team. Majors in first at home with a 4-1 record. Hamilton 3-1. As we mentioned, the Majors lost their first game to the Panthers last Friday night. And we've seen some lineup changes for them coming into this one. Let's talk a bit about that now.
So right off the bat, definitely a bit of a retooling just in terms of moving certain guys up, moving some of their offensive weapons down. So I think they're focusing on having a bit more contact to get the lineup going right off the bat, and then kind of building that into their offensive weapons where they kind of built it up a little bit previously. And now let's head into our national anthem.
Get suited up with us for our big night. We went to Collins Clothiers. They had suits and tuxedos in various colors and styles. The staff helped us pick exactly what we wanted. They custom fit our suits for the perfect fit. They even matched us to our date's dress. It was so much fun trying on suits with the boys on the VIP night. They even got us pizza while we tried clothes on.
For prom kids, of course, are going to be the best dressed.
We felt so confident and looked amazing.
When you need a night out, Throw London is on point. With an atmosphere that's a cut above, Throw London brings together the best in knife throwing, axe throwing, and darts. So it's the perfect spot for a date night, night out with friends, leagues, and team building for the office. You've got to be 13 or older to throw pointy objects and 19 plus to enjoy their fully licensed offerings. It's the best spot in London for some fun with an edge. London's original knife throwing. Check them out at 2190 Dundas Street East and online at ithrow.ca. That's ITHROW.ca.
Welcome back to Labatt Memorial Park. National anthem just happened, and we're shortly underway here between the Hamilton Cardinals and the London Majors. For a Sunday afternoon, quite a good crowd here at Labatt Memorial Park, wouldn't you say, Justin?
Well, yeah, and it's hard to deny that the Friday nights are probably one of the most popular days for the London crowd to come out. But to see this many people on a Sunday is spectacular, and I'm sure the home team always will appreciate it. It's even nice for us up in the booth when a really cool highlight play happens to actually hear the roar of the crowd, too. So it should be a lot of fun.
100%. As Travis Keys is checking in today, we mentioned he gets the nod from Roop Chanderdat. And for the first time, let's take a look at the Hamilton Cardinals lineup for today.
So starting in center field, we have Brandon Nicholson, who's wearing number 4. Second, we have number 3, Danny Berg, who's playing left field today. Then we have Luis Bernardo, Dennis DeBanning, Zach Marriott at short today, and their DH, Lane Renault. Continuing on, we have the third baseman, Keylor Loveridge. Playing catcher today, we have Andrew Johnston. And then second, we have Brendan Daly, all playing behind Owen Slater today.
When the Majors get up to bat, we're going to go over their lineup shortly. And let's talk a little bit more about Travis Keys right now. A native from London, Ontario, attended Lake Michigan College in Benton Harbor, Michigan, as well as Aquinas College in Grand Rapids. Also a member of Grand Valley State University in Allendale, Michigan. So played his ball all across the great state of Michigan. And spent the last few seasons with the Ilderton Redhawks in AAA. His youth team was the London Badgers in 2021. He was the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference Pitcher of the Year with a 2.61 ERA, 101 strikeouts. Pretty impressive to say the least, and certainly a reliable pitcher. Not the Majors' ace, but definitely in contention for that.
Well, and one of the best things that I like seeing for pitchers is comparing it to their BAA, or batting average against. Keys right now has actually the best number on the Majors squad so far, with a 156 average coming from opposing players, only slightly behind Victor Payano at 161. So clearly, opposing players are not able to get a lot of hits off him.
We're almost live here from Labatt Memorial Park, waiting for the umpires to get things underway. The umpires for today's game are as follows. The crew chief at home plate is Justin Van Horn. At third base is Nick Leffler. And first base is Ben Flesher. As Travis Keys ready to throw the first pitch on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, live from London. That one in there for strike one off a fastball. And a quick 0-1 count to Brandon Nicholson. Here's the toss. That one hit, fouled off high and behind. So quickly down 0-2 is Brandon Nicholson. Puts himself in a tricky situation here.
That one was launched up in the air, and I always kind of wait a few seconds to hear that little ping right above our press box in those certain instances.
Opportunity for a strikeout on 3 pitches here for Keys. The pitch is in there, swung on, hit right back to him from Nicholson. Keys making his way to first. The toss over to Caden Cardoso, and a routine play for the first out at the top of the first inning.
Those are the plays you like to see, too. Those are the ones that require a whole lot of athleticism from your pitcher, because they're usually right in the middle of their follow-through, not in a position to really be right there to get a ball coming right at them. So spectacular play by the pitcher.
Danny Berg checking in now, wearing number 3 today in the Cardinals gray. Travis Keys got that play on 3 pitches last time to record the out, as this one in there, fastball going outside, swung on and fouled off by Berg.
You mentioned it already, but a spectacular day here at the ballpark. I'm just happy we get a bit of a cross breeze up here in the press box, too. Had some tougher days so far in the season.
Definitely been sweltering in London and across southern Ontario recently, as that ball is chopped up, but right to the glove of Gibson Kresminski. A ball that was hammered out by Danny Berg, and he will be out. That's 2 outs for the Majors to the top of the first.
And already 2 batters in, but a pretty efficient showing so far, keeping that pitch count nice and low. So hopefully Keys will make it pretty far into the game today.
He's thrown 5 pitches thus far, and 2 outs. Pretty good numbers from Mr. Keys. Luis Bernardo in the right-hander's batter's box for the first time today. One of the stronger offensive players on this Hamilton team, as that tosses in there for strike 1 from Keys. The 0-1 from Keys. Tosses in there on a ball that was breaking, got a little bit out of his hand, and just a bit too high there, Justin.
That right there is one of my go-to favorite pitches. Try to drop in a curveball top of the zone, because usually right out the hands of the pitcher, the batter usually just immediately sees, oh, it's going way above. But then when it drops back in for the strike, I can see exactly what he was going for.
Another one that just got out of the hands of Keys, too far outside, and that'll be ball number 2. The 2-1 from Keys to Bernardo. Swung on and got him in there for strike 2. As Bernardo takes a little bit of a trot, looks down at his dugout and makes his way back to the batter's box. Nice pitch there from Keys.
And I like that we've already seen a few pitches trying to mix up the timing of the batter. We've seen a fastball, we've seen a breaking ball, and then we've seen an off-speed too so far.
The 2-2 from Keys, swung on, fouled off narrowly off a high outside fastball. Good job from Bernardo to just tick that one off and stay alive, as the count's still at 2-2. An even count and delivery from Keys to come. And they're swung on high, and players are just going to watch it sail backwards on top of the netting here at Labatt Memorial Park. Count stays at 2-2.
Well, he's doing exactly what you got to do, and that's really driving up the pitch count. After 2 very efficient outs to get the game going, just driving off some foul balls just to drive up that pitch count from Keys is exactly, as the opposing team, what you want to do, just to try and eat up how far this pitcher can make it in the game.
Pitch number 12 coming from Keys. Swung on again. Could that make it out past the first base side? And it does. Right down the first base line, and a softie that gets parachuted and poked through past Caden Cardoso and Byron Reichstein. So Luis Bernardo, the first hit today of the entire game against Travis Keys.
Well, it was just a good hit, a good location, too. We ended up seeing a lot of hits similar to that in that last Kitchener Panthers game, where they got most of their runs in on playing small ball, just getting them out, touching the outfield grass. Nothing too flashy. They did have 1 home run in the game, but just anything to keep the inning going, especially 2 outs. Impressive hit right there.
The crowd making themselves heard around the grounds here today is a good showing for a Sunday afternoon. One of the best pastimes in London throughout the summer. Coming to watch a Majors home game at Labatt Memorial Park, and what better time than on a beautiful Sunday afternoon with the top 2 teams in the entire league. That pitch was in there for another ball, so 2 balls, no strikes to Keys. Pitching to Dennis Day Banning, the first time he's checking in, and certainly the strongest player on this Hamilton Cardinals side offensively.
It's an impressive player, and they have an impressive roster as well when you actually look at it. These teams who are at the top of the standings are up there for a reason, especially now that we're getting to the 4th and 5th games. While some teams are kind of looking to figure out their identity a little bit, there's definitely a reason why these teams are where they are in the standings so early.
That one chopped off down to the right field side. It's going to get in there. And Bernardo's rounding to third base, and it'll be a double for Dennis Day Banning. A nice hit, too far for the London Majors. Byron Reichstein was not able to get out there in time, and 2 hits, back-to-back hits off Travis Keys from Luis Bernardo and Dennis Day Banning.
Well, and the one little silver lining that the Majors can take from that is the fact that the runners are still on, and there's still 2 outs. So even though there's 2 outs, 2 back-to-back hits, the second of which is an extra base hit for a double, there's still a chance for the team to get out of it, and that's exactly what they're going to be hoping for right now.
Keys started off strong with the first 2 outs. Has gone downhill a little bit since then. But as you mentioned, Justin, all they need is 1 more to get themselves out of a tricky situation. This one in there for a strike, a ball that was moving across the plate, and a nice toss from Keys to make it 0-1.
Some great movement on these pitches so far.
Travis Keys, a very technical pitcher, as that one hit right up the middle. Should be an easy play in there from Tyler Mosher over to Caden Cardoso. And the side is retired with no runs allowed so far. Travis Keys hasn't let anything up as we transition offensively for the Majors.
And that's exactly how you want to draw it up. When you give up 2 hits, one of which is an extra base hit, with 2 outs, could have gone a lot worse, and that was exactly what they were hoping for right there, just to keep the score nice and even at nothing apiece.
So 0-0 through the top of the first as the teams switch sides, and we get our first look at the London Majors batting order, something that has changed drastically since last Friday night.
Yes, and so to start things off, in the leadoff spot, we have the shortstop, Tommy Reyes Cruz. Right after that, we have the left fielder, Gibson Krasminski. And then in the 3 spot, we have Starling Joseph, the center fielder. Then Caden Cardoso, one of the flashy players on the team so far, over at first base. Eduardo de Olio playing catcher right after that. And then Byron Reichstein over in right field. Then Victor Plaz, Brad Verhoeven, and Tyler Mosher to round things out.
As you mentioned in their last game against the Kitchener Panthers, the first game all year, including exhibition games, that they recorded less than 5 runs offensively. Something that can definitely be changed around, especially from a team that has such potent bats and a really good offense. Of course, one of the leading players of that offense is number 34, Caden Cardoso.
And he's looked exceptional to get the season going. Already showing off plenty of power in the middle of this lineup so far. And it's been tough to really start naming some of the highlight standout players because the Majors kind of have a few in their roster. Everyone loves Starling Joseph, Cleveland Brownlee, of course, as well. But the main couple have been Diolio, Cardoso, and it's been a very good offensive showing to get the season going.
Arguably the top offense in the league so far, as we're seeing Owen Slater checking in for his second start. Owen Slater, a player that will only be here not too much longer in the Intercounty Baseball League, as he's making his way to a collegiate summer league in the States after this stint with the Cardinals. Also committed to Mississippi State University, or Missouri State University, the Bears.
Well, these are one of those situations that can kind of be a bit of a double-edged sword for the Cardinals. They can kind of run Slater a little bit more than they would a regular pitcher because they don't have to go as far into the season as some of their others. But at the same time, if Slater really gets on a groove, really gets on a roll, it could put them at a bit of a detriment losing one of their starting pitchers partway through the season.
Slater has in his arsenal around a 91 velocity for that fastball. Also throws a changeup, a curve, and a nice slider to boot. Our first look at Tommy Reyes-Cruz, the shortstop for the Majors. That pitch into him, he's going to get a tick of it and foul it off. And the count goes to 0-1.
And a lot of what they're doing, for those who don't know, if you're in the batter's box facing this pitcher for the first time, you're really just trying to get a figure for their timing, figure out their stance, figure out their rotation, and then just kind of setting the pace for the rest of the team. For a lot of cases, especially for players who aren't going to be in the league for very long, they just want to figure them out early.
Slater on a fastball in there. Looked like it easily could have been called a strike. But the umpire, Van Horn, is going to say no. And that count goes to 1-1. As Reyes-Cruz watched that coast by him the whole way through and felt comfortable with it. The 1-1 to Reyes-Cruz. A fastball high and outside. And a 1-2 count. Or a 2-1 count, I should say.
Reyes-Cruz, like you said, already looking very comfortable up there. It'd be very easy to give a little bit of a half swing at one of those, especially to get things going. But like I said, they're starting to try and read this pitcher. If they're starting to throw a few pitches outside, this is all learning material for them to get the game going.
That ball in there, and it's going to be a ball for a 3-1 count now. And we hear the ball four chants raining in from the Majors faithful.
I love the London crowd. I love these home games, hearing all those ball four talks. We saw it one time yesterday, but they ended up saying ball six as it got into some of the later batters.
And that ball four chant comes out in handy as Tommy Reyes-Cruz is walked on a first base. And through his first 5 pitches, Owen Slater walks one.
And that's exactly what you got to do. When you're in the leadoff spot, when you're the number one guy, your entire job is to get on base. A lot of times you don't really see it being one of the big power hitters on the team. You see a lot more contact. You see a lot more plate discipline. Anything you can do to just get on that first base bag, just to have some material on for the rest of the lineup.
Gibson Kresminski coming into the game for the first time, batting second for the Majors. Looked like he may have wanted a bunt there, but they're going to call him for strike one. Kresminski had an RBI double in the exhibition game versus Hamilton towards the beginning of this month, and batting .250 for the Majors through their first 5 games. Slater took his time there. That one is hacked off very hard and back into the netting. And quickly down 0-2 is Gibson Kresminski.
One of the things I love about this Majors squad is the difference in their batting stances. Sometimes, depending on the offensive coaches, you'll see a lot of players kind of adapt similar stances, but the entire team across the board is fairly unique and really playing into their own set of skills, their own way to hit the ball, and we'll see a few different kind of unique ones as we go through the game, too.
Intercounty baseball, definitely a league where you can showcase some of those diverse talents and try out things. Really exciting league for over 100 years now in Canadian baseball. That one was outside for a ball, so the 1-2 coming towards Kresminski. That one in there swung on and popped up into the right field area. Dave Banning calls his man off, and he's going to record that out, and it's one down in the bottom of the first for the Cardinals.
Good contact on it, good little pop off the bat. Just ended up getting a little bit under it to drive it to the right fielder.
So Starling Joseph checking in for the first time today. And a bit of a rough outing versus Kitchener. 0-4, very not like him. Out of character. But he's still one of the best players offensively on this Majors squad, hitting .261 with 6 hits thus far.
And undoubtedly a fan favorite, too. One of the happiest, cheeriest guys over in the dugout on a consistent basis. Being the reporter, being over by that dugout side for a majority of the games, it's spectacular to see just the smile on his face, the conversation, the rapport that he builds, too, with everyone who's on the team.
As Slater throws one in for a fastball right down the middle and strike one. Definitely love that ethos he brings to the Majors team, that lightheartedness, that fun behavior. Singing before games, as we saw him up personal and close during batting practice on Friday. And just a real great player to have in the locker room.
Love the little dances, too.
Oh, you gotta love it. That ball in there low off a fastball, and the count will even itself out at 1 apiece.
Slater definitely trying to find a little bit of a rhythm so far. You can even already see him kind of overcompensating on a few of his pitches. When he gets one down in the dirt, then he ends up going to the opposite end a little bit straight away. So he's trying to find that little bit of a middle ground, and we'll see if he's able to figure that out as the game continues.
This ball in there swung on hard by Joseph. And Joseph against the ropes here a little bit, 1-2. Off a nice pitch, a fastball from Slater. Slater of Brooklyn High School, 18 years old, turning 19. Played for the Ontario Blue Jays. Standing at 6'4", almost 180 pounds. So a big man out there on the plate. Or on the rubber, I should say, as that ball is in there. And count once again at 2-2 with one out. Tommy Reyes-Cruz. After that walk, still hanging out on first base.
And while we're getting going, I want to give a nice little shout out to everyone who's watching the game live and in the chat. One of the comments, go Knights, go Majors, go. It's that time of year where kind of baseball crosses with hockey. So plenty of excitement for anyone who enjoys some sports.
Definitely a good time if you're a London fan, as that ball is swung on and hit for a single. Moves up Reyes-Cruz, and Starling Joseph in there after going 0-4 against the Panthers. Starts out 1-for-1 with a single of his own against the Cardinals. 2 men on now for the Majors.
And perfect placement, exactly right in between the fielders. We've actually been seeing a lot of opposite field hits so far to get the game going from both teams too. And often that can end up keeping the defensive alignment a bit more on their toes when usually they drive it towards the side that they're on. So if you're a righty, you'll drive it over towards left field. If you're a lefty, you'll drive it over towards right. So a little peculiar to get the game going, but they'll take whatever hits that they can get.
Batting cleanup today, none other than Caden Cardoso. Continues to try to make his assault to be the home run king and keep nailing balls back. He has 3 home runs already on the year. That's good for first in the Intercounty Baseball League, tied with 2 other players, including London's very own Eduardo Diolio. 8 hits as well on the year, batting .400, which is the highest on this London's offense. That ball in there was sliding inside. Cardoso had to nearly duck out of the way.
And Cardoso is definitely one of those players with a lot of confidence. Like you said, he very much wants to kind of get that home run title as the season goes on. And that confidence can often then translate to the rest of the team, too. If you have one key player who's vocally wanting the team to do well, wanting themselves and everybody around them to do well, it can really lift up the team as a whole to perform.
This ball in there, and it's called a strike off the sliding ball on the outside left corner for Cardoso. Cardoso, formerly of Minot State University in North Dakota, as well as of Antelope Valley in Lancaster, California. With only one out, big opportunity here for Cardoso, as he has two men on. Dangerous and fast men in Starling Joseph and Tommy Reyes Cruz. As the ball four chants are back once again.
And Cardoso, for those who care about some of the more expanded stats outside of average, outside of strikeouts, his OPS right now, his on-base plus slugging, is exceptional. He's at about 1328 OPS.
Which is pretty strong to the first 5 games as a strike is called. Cardoso threw his bat backwards. He's going to get a full count, thinking that was absolutely outside of the zone. But umpire Van Horn says otherwise. So Cardoso will stay out there as the full count getting delivered to him now.
And Cardoso was very confident that that would have been a ball four right there, throwing his bat all the way pretty much towards the dugout there.
The bat boy had to come collect it for him off the full count. Pitch that is swung on and hit narrowly foul down the first base line. Will move Starling Joseph and Reyes Cruz back, but they were both on the tips of their toes, ready to run for that one.
I really think Cardoso, too, would be one of those players who would appreciate being back in the batter's box. With his power potential, his offensive potential, I think any opportunity that he would get to clobber the ball, to be at bat as opposed to kind of being given that free base on the ball four, I think he'll take it in a heartbeat.
The 3-2 again to Cardoso. Could have big implications here. Cardoso lets it fly inside, and ball four is called. So with one out at the bottom of the first, the bases are loaded for the London Majors.
We're seeing a lot of good plate discipline so far to get the game going. Having two people on base, having gone on there by walks on top of the single is exactly what you want to see. Just make sure that their heads are in the game and they're already communicating a lot of this information over from player to player as the lineup continues to move through. If the pitches so far have been a little all over the place, down and in, we've been seeing a few balls in the dirt, that's exactly what you want to be seeing and exactly what you want to be communicating to the next guy who's coming up right behind you.
And up steps Eduardo De Olio. Who better to be up at bat right now for the Majors than the league leader in RBIs with 9, as he lets that one float in there for strike one, thrown by Slater.
Definitely one of those players who will welcome a bases-loaded situation anytime that they can.
He's batting .333 on the year and 6 hits. In a favorable position, to say the least, for London. He's going to swing on that one and chops it far and behind. Down quickly, 0-2. He's able to get himself out of situations like this, but it'll be tough.
Getting the first chance to see some kind of pink cleats on Deolio so far. I love seeing that. I'm kind of a bit of a sneakerhead, so anytime I get to be by the dugout, see all the kind of different variants in cleats and different sneakers over there, I love to see it. A little bit of a personality can come out there.
Definitely. Beautiful shoes from the Dominican National, as that one is a wild pitch, and it looks like Tommy Reyes Cruz is in there to score the first run of the game off a wild pitch from Owen Slater. And Cruz capitalizes on that one. 1-0, London.
And that one well outside of the zone. In some cases, the catcher can usually have a slight opportunity to get the ball back to home plate to prevent that run from coming in. But it ended up being so off that the player didn't even have to dive in. Was able to just run across to get that first run on the board.
Cardoso as well as Starling Joseph advancing there. And the 0-2 count still standing. Only one out. And this offering much better, and Deolio takes a big chop at it. It's going to be hammered out foul down the right-hand side. And a big play there, big mistake from Owen Slater. You can't make a mistake like that with someone on third base as fast as Tommy Reyes Cruz is.
Well, and you can. It just kind of goes to show how the rest of the inning has been going so far, where his pitch location has been a little bit off. He hasn't been able to get that consistency down. And when pitches like that And exactly like
Like
that,
that.
to start coming in, it really puts a lot of question marks in the head of these batters, and it really makes them a bit more hesitant to want to swing, setting them up for a lot more ball fours, setting them a lot more for these wild pitches, and especially from a base running perspective, they now know that some of these pitches could be a bit wild, so they're set up to want to run to the next base any opportunity that they can get.
Yeah, that last pitch was a slider high and inside, moving down low and got Diolio to swing on that one, and that'll be the first strikeout of the game for Owen Slater.
And that's the kind of movement that he's been looking for in some of these pitches. That mindset of it starting in the zone and then tapering off towards the end of it. That's exactly what was able to get him a strikeout on the board.
So in comes Byron Reichstein to try to capitalize even more for the Majors here with 2 men on. Cardoso on second, Joseph on third.
And Reichstein, the third highest for average on the team so far with a 364, so he's definitely a good contact hitter as we've been progressing with the season.
4 hits to his name as he's going to take a hack at one now. That'll dribble to first base. And the Cardinals walk away with only letting up 1 run in that inning. When we come back, we'll see the Cardinals back on offense. The Majors lead 1-0 over Hamilton here at Labatt Memorial Park. I'm Ty White with Justin Koehler. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's The Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide you to help you with your recreation needs.
Well, the Majors just scored 1 run off a wild pitch from Owen Slater, and Tommy Reyes-Cruz hobbled his way in there. The first run of the game, and Hamilton now a chance to even things up with London.
And it's not one of the innings that you kind of want, even from both perspectives, when either Majors getting the walks to end up getting those runs in. Usually you want to have some nice flashy hits, some home runs, some little singles, but they'll take whatever they can get. A run is a run no matter what at the end of the day.
So for the first time today, we get a look at Lane Renaud. He's DHing today. And Travis Keys throwing out his 18th pitch of this contest. First one in there, swung on hard, nowhere near it. Beautiful pitch from Travis Keys. The count drops to 0-1.
And so this inning we'll be seeing Renaud, Loveridge, and Johnston up to the plate. So the DH, the shortstop, and the catcher making their way up.
Another one in there off a fastball. Quick 0-2 count.
And I love the unpredictability that we're seeing so far from Keys. Oftentimes when you see a fastball, you can then kind of predict either a changeup or a curveball, but dropping them in back-to-back.
This one is swung on, and the play is going to be made nicely from Tommy Reyes-Cruz coming in there to scoop that one off the ground, get it over to Cardoso, and promptly get out Renaud.
Nice little routine play, exactly what you want to see. I like seeing the extension on Keys right there, too, to try and get up there to get the ball.
Today's shortstop, Keehler Loveridge, in the right-handed batter's box. Now for the Cardinals. Keys delivers that one, and it's fouled off hard for his 20th pitch of the contest. 26 pitches for Owen Slater on the flip side for Hamilton going through the first, which is quite a lot, Justin.
Oh, yeah, especially since usually the average that you want to see from some of these pitchers is kind of around 15 pitches an inning. That's kind of what you're gunning for, anywhere from the 12 to 15 range. So once you get up into the 20s in your first inning of work, usually it's not the best sign for the game going forward, but it is early in the game.
Loveridge is going to take a hack at that one, and the play is going to be made beautifully by Victor Plaz. The third baseman today had to make a nice throw on time and did so perfectly.
Great arm, great athleticism, and those are the exact plays that you want to see and the exact plays that they practice every single day that they can. Those kind of long extensions to reach for the ball and then the long throw over to first, too.
So that'll be 2 outs now as Andrew Johnston steps in. Keys in there for strike one. Similar to how we started in the top of the first inning. He had 2 quick outs and then had a bit of trouble. So we'll see if he can change that now and be a little bit more consistent as it's hit on hard by Johnston over to the short baseman Reyes Cruz, who makes the throw over to Cardoso and call that 3 outs in order for the London Majors.
Well, some routine plays is what you like to see, and it's nice to see the defensive mindsets from these infielders so far. Give the outfielders a little bit of a break and put a ton of pressure off from your pitcher to get the game going. Gives Keys just a lot of confidence going forward in the game, just having the strong infield behind him.
Majors have a pretty deep bullpen and have pitched well so far throughout their first 5 games. So if some relief is needed, Travis Keys will have plenty of help, but doesn't need it so far. Records 3 quick outs there. Let's talk a little bit about yesterday. It was supposed to be 3 games in 3 days for the London Majors, but it was rained out playing at Guelph. And coincidentally, the only other team that the Cardinals were rained out against were also the Guelph Royals.
Poor Royals having a tough start of the season in terms of getting rained out. That's not how you want the games to go. But luckily for the London fans, the people who are here who like to turn out to some of these games, they've been on the better side of it. The only games that have been rained out so far for the Majors have been the away games. So always great to have the nice weather when everyone's here in London.
The Hamilton Cardinals a perfect 2-0 on the road. The Majors a perfect 3-0. Both teams posting a 1-1 mark at home. In last game versus the Majors in the exhibition game on May the 4th, it was Brett Lawson pitching for the Cardinals who took the loss there. The only hits coming from Josh Williams, who was 1 for 4 with an RBI, and Tyler Duncan had 2 hits and went 2 for 3 on that day.
And that day in particular was our you said May the 4th, that was the Star Wars Day
yes.
here at Labatt Memorial Park. I want to give a quick shout out to the graphics team who are here with MajorsTV. On that day in particular, we had some stellar graphics that were used on all of our Facebook pages, all our Instagram, all our social pages. If you haven't checked any of those out, be sure to check us out. We're on most pages at London Majors. Gives you a good in-depth look at what's going on, some lineups before the game, and in some cases, behind-the-scenes stuff of what's going on here at Labatt Memorial Park.
Definitely get to see a lot of the fun shenanigans taking place in between innings that you might not catch on TV during commercial break. We had some awesome games on Friday night. The kids were rounding the bases. We had a bat spin around and race, and someone took a huge tumble right off the bat for being definitely nauseated.
So perfectly fits in your how you phrased it, the fun shenanigans.
Definitely.
Is one of the best ways you could word that.
Now Victor Plaz, the only player in the same position as Friday night's game in this batting order for the London Majors. Slater back out there.
And Plaz so far batting .200 on the season across 20 at-bats.
That slider outside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, a slider again, streaking far and outside. Looks like Slater's going to have to get things a little bit more under control here, Justin.
Well, and you can even see the communication back and forth between the pitcher and the catcher there, with the catcher giving a little bit of a gesture, showing him that he's kind of starting to get on the right track, but hasn't quite locked it in as we've gotten going here into the second inning.
Another ball in there, hit hard up the middle. by Victor Plaz, and that's going to be good for a single. Plaz belts one right in between the shortstop and the second baseman for another Majors hit, and he's calmly on first base.
Well, and Slater's heart rate definitely jumped up right there, having to dive out of the way. Those can be incredibly scary when they're coming right back up at you.
We saw a handful of those last game coming right up the middle, and the way in which the Panthers recorded the majority of their hits right towards that second base.
Sometimes that's how you got to do it. Once you get it past the pitcher, there's so much open area to get on base.
Swung on by Brad Verhoeven, who's DHing today for the Majors.
Verhoeven very aggressive on that first pitch right there, trying to get something going.
0-1 count. We're getting ready for the 29th offering today from Owen Slater, who made a bit of a costly mistake early on with a wild pitch, and Reyes cruised waltz in for the first run.
And for those on our live stream, it looks like one of the regular broadcasters, Dylan, has made his way into the chat at one point, which is great to see. Hope Dylan's doing well. He's out covering the London Knights, not directly, but over in the Memorial Cup tournament that's going on right now.
Yeah, down in Saginaw, Michigan. Not too much French in Saginaw, Michigan, Dill, but we're so proud of you over here. The 1-2 coming in, a fastball that was looming outside that had some considerable heat on it.
Well, and that's one that we've been seeing pretty consistently. We've been seeing that pitch up and away versus the lefty batters, and then we've been seeing the slider down and away towards the righty batters. So it's just really finding a tough time getting that exact location, getting that command down to where he wants it to be.
This one is inside and swung on. It's going to be ticked foul by Verhoeven. So Victor Plaz is going to make his way back to first base. Count stays at 2 apiece with no outs in the bottom of the second.
And for those wondering why the pitches keep coming in kind of on opposite ends, it really comes down to that's how a lot of pitchers work. You'll see them work on opposite ends. If one pitcher sort of likes to deal in pitches up in the zone and down in the zone, you'll then see kind of a lot of fastballs. You'll see a lot of curveballs. If you'll see pitchers dealing kind of a left and right, that's when you'll see a lot of like two-seam fastballs. You see a lot of sliders trying to keep the batters on their toes.
A thick swing on by Brad Verhoeven. And a strikeout recorded by Owen Slater, his second strikeout of the game. And we're down in the very bottom of the order. Tyler Mosher for the first time today, wearing number 97 for the Majors.
And this is one of Mosher's first games. Hasn't played a whole ton to get the season going. And he's looking to get his numbers up in the positives right now.
Another fastball, very high and outside. And Mosher's going to watch that one sail by him for ball one. Inside, swung on by Mosher, up the middle, chance for a double play as he's going to throw out Mosher at first, but decided not to make that little dump-off throw.
Definitely almost seemed almost a bit like a hit-and-run situation where Plaz was right there going, right at the sound of the crack, able to prevent that exact double play and the inning-ending double play from coming into action. So some good base running, some good some heads-up base running in particular from Plaz.
So with that one, it was the choice of Brandon Daly not to throw it to second base to even try a double play. Instead, he's going to get it to first for Luis Bernardo to take out Mosher.
Quick little mound visit right now, not being counted right now. Just as the top of the order begins to come back around again.
Umpire Van Horn settling things back down as the 35th delivery from Slater awaits Tommy Reyes Cruz. Back to the top of the order for the Majors. As that's in there for strike one, and it looks like the Majors have brought out a pinch runner that is still Brad Verhoeven out there on second base. 2 outs and the 0-1 coming from Slater to Reyes Cruz. Another fastball, very high. He's had trouble getting those pitches down, Justin.
Yeah, well above the zone right there. Almost considered an uncompetitive pitch where there's not even going to be any ounce of movement from these batters in there. Just needs to lock it in, get centralized a little bit more, almost trust your defense a bit more than he's doing. He's trying to be a little bit of a specialist, moving the pitches around quite a bit. And sometimes all you need to do is just throw strikes and count on your defense to get you some outs.
Reyes Cruz takes a hard swing at that one. In there for a strike. And a 2-2 count with 2 outs at the bottom of the second. Victor Plaz on second base. Has some speed on him. So really anything that's kept in play could be dangerous here. Coming off the bat of Reyes Cruz. Majors already up 1-0. This ball's in there, swung on. Deep to the right field side. Kind of in between that ambiguous area of the first baseman, Bernardo, and the right fielder, Dave Banning, but it was well foul.
Great swing on it, just ended up being a little bit early on it. And it looks like Reyes Cruz is getting a new bat. Might have gotten a bit too much contact on that one. Snapped his bat, made a little bit of lumber there. But it's the exact kind of swing that you want to see. Just needs to time it up a little bit better.
Reyes Cruz scored off that wild pitch before. And the only run of the day so far in this game. The 1-2, well outside again. Seems like he's having a lot of trouble trying to navigate this box.
Well, and again, it's a bit of a continuation off of his last start as well, where he had some command issues, only lasted a little over 3 innings in that game. So he's looking for a little bit of momentum, but now he's just looking to try and make it through the second.
2-2 with 2 outs. Slater in there and chopped off towards the left field side, way out of bounds. And keeps himself alive as Reyes Cruz, definitely a tough at-bat for many pitchers.
And seeing a lot of movement over from Victor Plaz over at second right there. Almost not in an attempt to want to steal third, but to almost put that little extra mindset into the pitcher just to throw him off his timing, give him something extra to think about.
As you can see him jittering on the screen right now as a big swing from Reyes Cruz gets him out. So Slater keeps things the same. 1-0 Majors through the first 2 innings. We'll be back with third inning action shortly. Ty White with Justin Koehler. You're watching Majors TV.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
Welcome back, folks, to Labatt Memorial Park, home of the London Majors, who currently have a 1-0 lead over the second place in the IBL, Hamilton Cardinals. Travis Keys checking back in after no offense in that bottom of the second for the Majors, and Hamilton will have a chance to even things out.
Well, we've been seeing a real difference in pitchers so far. Keys has looked exceptional, very similar to how he did in his last outing, too. Really just running through these batters, whereas the Majors already run through their order once, already back to the top of the lineup after that strikeout from Cruz. And it's just the biggest thing that you can see is the difference in overall command. That can sometimes be good, sometimes be bad when you can throw these batters on their toes if you're throwing some pitches out of the zone. But when you're consistently throwing pitches out of the zone, a lot of these batters are not going to be wanting to swing at a whole lot versus Keys, who's really been competitive with his pitches, having a good mix-up, keeping the batters on their toes too. So it's exactly from what you want to be seeing from a Majors perspective.
So we're finally at the bottom of the order for the Cardinals. And it's Brendan Daly from Ancaster, Ontario, formerly of Patrick and Henry Community College in Martinsville, Virginia. He's entering his last year of junior eligibility and led the junior Cardinals in doubles, triples, and runs, while also ranking second in home runs as he pokes that one out to the second baseman. And promptly out there from Tyler Mosher over to Cardoso. And one quick out there again for Travis Keys.
Again, another routine play that this Majors defense is able to turn over there. We've been seeing a lot of ground out singles over to a lot of the infield there. So it's exactly what they practice on a consistent basis, exactly what you want to see, and it puts a lot of confidence into Keys' head that even if a pitch is hit, even if he's not able to strike one of these guys out, the defense will be there to have his back.
So back to the top of the order off a potential bunt attempt, it looked like, from Brandon Nicholson, the center fielder. And Keys whips that one in there. The second offering from Keys to Nicholson is swung on and evens the count at 1-1.
Nicholson sitting right now with a 176 average on the season. He's been walked twice, but he's also struck out twice. So he's looking for a little bit more consistency from the batting perspective. But walks, hits, he'll take a base however he can.
Keys in there to Nicholson. The umpire says it's a ball. So that'll go to 2-1. Crowd heating up a little bit here. Quite literally, too, with the weather the last couple days. As Nicholson takes a swing at that one and fouls it well behind him. Travis Keys on the 1-2. In there. Strike three called. Off a ball that was breaking nicely. Bit of a curve sliding downwards, and Travis Keys again has another one out.
Well, and that's exactly what his pitch repertoire really caters to, is changing up the timing, getting these batters to freeze, almost expecting certain pitches, not getting them. Freezing up like that, you can probably tell that he was looking for a bit more of a fastball, and when the ball came in at a bit of a different wonky angle, just froze him up, not what he was expecting, and that's exactly the mindset that you want these batters to be in.
So Nicholson 0 for 2 on the day, and Danny Berg back in there. Danny Berg grounded out in his last at-bat. Keys in there again. Berg with a big swing out to the right field side, which drops in just nicely before Byron Reichstein, and he's on first base.
And good solid hit, good solid contact. Small ball is exactly what you want to play, especially in today's case where they're actually without one of their main bats in Tyler Duncan, who's not in the lineup for today's game, who was batting .353, tied for second on the team right now. So without one of their big offensive weapons, any opportunity they can have to have the ball touch the grass, they'll take it happily.
Speaking of players out, Cleveland Brownlee taking these weekend games off. The tenured 14-year London Major, as Keys is going to throw it back to first to Cardoso, trying to catch Berg off his mark. 2 outs here for Keys in the top of the third. Keys checks again, throws right back. Cardoso is going to make the tag and narrowly gets away with one there. Danny Berg had to slide back in a hurry, Justin.
We've been seeing a lot of pickoff attempts across the board for the Majors to get this season going, particularly from the catcher, Deolio, who's actually been able to get a few people out. We saw it kind of start off in a few of the exhibition games, them really kind of trying to mess around with some of these pickoff attempts. So it's something they definitely have in their minds consistently throughout the season that we've been seeing.
Keys finally going to throw one towards Bernardo, and is in there for strike one.
And keeps it exciting, too. Keeps consistent action going.
His 30th pitch is in there, a pickoff attempt at second base, and that bag is stolen by Danny Berg. Good a bit of baseball IQ there to get across in a hurry.
And good attempt, good thought process, right on the location, but ended up just dropping it a little bit, having to get it off the one hop. So not able to get it out, but a good attempt on it.
As you just talked about the defensive prowess, rather, of Eduardo Diolio, making that nice throw over to even give the Majors a chance.
The Majors hopefully don't have to worry about it if they get the out here.
The 0-2 coming in, swung on, and a deep drive and a beautiful catch from Gibson Kresminski, as if he's done it a million times before. Sliding down to one knee, and Travis Keys comes away again with a scoreless inning.
Great athleticism, good attempt, especially from a position here at Labatt Memorial Park that we've seen a couple errors that we've been going through the season so far. I know it's one of those zones, especially when the sun gets to a certain point in the sky, it gets really tough to track some of these balls. So great effort there to get the out.
Now let's fast forward a little bit to Sunday, June 16th, which is Father's Day. We encourage you to come and pack the park. Should be a great one here, celebrating all our fathers across the London area. We have a fair few on the London Majors team. It should be a fun day around the ballpark then, Justin.
Definitely one of the popular events here at Labatt Memorial Park, and a great opportunity to even just get your dad some tickets to go to the ball game. I can say it because my dad is in attendance here and not looking at the stream, but that might be what I'm doing for him this Father's Day as part of his gifts. You can find out the full links that will be appearing on our socials coming soon if you want to get tickets and end up getting a bit more information on that event, as well as other events that will be coming down the pipeline too. Like I said, making a great gift. Good opportunity to get together with your dad, with your family, just to come down to the ballpark.
And smart if you're a son or a mother getting that gift, because the tickets are free. Free here for Father's Day. So you don't have to go all out on dad, but give him a great baseball game at the same time. The 13th annual Father's Day special here at Labatt Memorial Park. As Owen Slater back in there, we haven't seen much action in the bullpen of either sides.
This has been one of those games so far that have felt very different than it technically is on paper. Even though the Majors do lead 1-0, it's still tied at 2 hits apiece. So even though the results look a little bit different, and from just the impression that we've been getting up here in the box so far of how it's been going, especially from a pitching perspective, the game is still relatively close here in the early innings.
So for the Majors, Gibson Kresminski will be coming back in for his second at-bat of the game. Certainly a dangerous offensive player for the Majors. Batting .364 with 4 hits to his name. If you're interested, there are a couple other games going on around the grounds of the Intercounty Baseball League. The Guelph Royals, hopefully not rained out today, are playing at Chatham-Kent. The Brantford Red Sox in Kitchener to take on the Panthers. And finally, the Welland Jackfish taking on the Maple Leafs at Christie Pitts in Toronto.
So plenty of action, especially if you're into IBL baseball. Lots to look forward to, lots of good, exciting games. But in terms of the main performance for the game, it's probably this one here right in front of us today.
Definitely the marquee matchup across the IBL for this weekend's slate of games. And the first pitch to Kresminski is a fastball high and outside for ball 1.
And Kresminski, one of the main offensive guys, but you won't see an absolute ton of pop from him compared to the rest of the team. Definitely very good in the first couple spots in the lineup, just to get a guy on base, batting, like you said, 360 plus. And just great to set the pace, especially right now when it kind of leading off the inning, then moving into Starling Joseph and the rest of the lineup behind him.
Kresminski 0 for 1 on the day. Something he can remedy here. As that pitch sliding across in a beautiful pitch under control from Owen Slater. Came across the plate there and had Kresminski looking.
Seems like Kresminski didn't really agree with the call right there, having to take a step back, said a few words to himself, and now he's back squared up in the box.
The 1-2 to Kresminski. Another sliding ball inside with good speed on it. It's going to be too low, though, and evens up the count at 2 apiece.
And again, in any other situation, if you drop in one of those pitches as one of the anomalies in the pitches that you're throwing, you can often get some swinging strikes here from some of the batters. But when that's becoming a consistency, getting too low in the zone, getting too high in the zone, you saw absolutely no movement from Kresminski in that at-bat.
The 2-2 with no outs. On the bottom of the third, another sliding ball in there, strike 3 called. And a beautiful pitch, a lot of movement on it from Owen Slater. He's fixed his mistakes from early on and has certainly become more consistent out there as the game has progressed.
Well, and that is exactly kind of what Slater was probably having in mind, dropping that pitch pretty low and out of the zone and then coming back in with a pitch up in the zone. You're naturally trying to move where the eyesight is for these batters up to the plate. So in that case, when you have a pitch that far down and out of the zone, that really draws their whole eyesight down so that when it's a bit higher, they either swing a bit underneath it or in some cases don't swing at it at all.
So here's Starling Joseph for the Majors. He got a single earlier in the first inning as Slater's pitch is in there for strike 1 against Joseph. We mentioned previously Joseph went 0 for 4 against the Kitchener Panthers at home, rather out of character, but is looking to be more in his groove now. Swung on that one and quickly down 0-2.
Definitely looked like he was expecting more of a fastball on that second pitch, getting a bit too in front of it right there, and then swinging outside of the ball there.
We're seeing more of the nasty stuff in the locker of Owen Slater and what he's got in his arsenal. When he gets those pitches under control, he's a dangerous player to face on the mound as Joseph is going to take him out to left field for a single. Joseph 2 for 2 on the day and sitting calmly at first base.
Well, and I'm sure he'll be happy about that, especially after, like you mentioned, the performance last game. It was one of the first instances that the team has seen a bit of a lack of success in a game. And you could slightly feel that down in the dugout with a lot of guys saying words themselves, wanting to really get the team going. So already seeing a bit of offense to get the game going in today's matchup, I'm sure everyone will be happy about, especially Starling.
Caden Cardoso back up now, recorded a hit last game versus Kitchener. As trying to pick off attempt there, and a base is stolen from Starling Joseph. Andrew Johnston didn't get the throw there in time, so Joseph picks off second base.
It was a very wide throw, too. Even if he was able to get the ball a bit in time, or if Starling Joseph was a little bit slower, I don't think he would have been able to get the tag on that attempt right there, just in terms of the location that it went to. But good heads up, good attempt by Starling right there.
Definitely sailed a little bit high on the second baseman, or on the shortstop, I should say. Koehler Loveridge, who got back there as Cardoso chops went off. And evens the count at 1 apiece with 1 out in the bottom of the third.
Well, it's a great thing you can do, especially when the pitcher is leaving a bit to be desired in terms of the location of these pitches. If you can add anything into their head to get their rhythm off even a little bit further, we've already seen a few very nice pitches from the pitcher, so if you want to try and mix that up, try and mess with his head a little bit, any stealing attempts, anything to try and get in positions like that for Star, exactly what you're trying to do.
By our count, pitch number 50 coming in now from Owen Slater. Definitely higher than he would like going into the fourth inning. Joseph showing a little bit of movement there. Just toying with him as Cardoso takes a drive. That's deep back to right field, but is not going to have enough on it. And that will be a sacrifice ball there as Joseph is going to trot his way into third base. Cardoso advancing a runner, but out himself off a sac fly.
Well, and we'll take it. If you're ever getting an out in the game, if you take a swing and end up leaving it a little bit open, having it at least far enough to get that runner over from second over to third, only 90 feet away from a run, that's exactly what you want to do. Of course, he would have liked for it to, go a little bit further, end up getting a home run there, but still a progressive at-bat.
So the man from San Juan de la Maguana checking in now, the Dominican Republic. Eduardo Diolio, the former all-star catcher in last year's IBL season, as that one is in there down low for ball 1. He has Starling Joseph on third base. Certainly scoring opportunities here for London.
Well, Diolio would get a lot of playing time in the lineup if he had just great offense or if he had just great defense, but he's one of those key players who are able to have a good specialty in both.
He takes a hard swing on that one, and Slater making him look a little bit silly as it was way off and a beautiful pitch. Slater has really come into his game here
Well, now he's starting to get those pitches to do exactly what he wants them to do. Start in the zone, have a late break to get these pitchers swinging a bit too far outside. And it just took a little bit of warming up, but we're finally starting to see exactly what his purpose was behind some of these pitches.
That one in there, sliding, and it's high for ball number 2. As we have a little bit of action in the Cardinals bullpen for the first time today. So it looks like Slater, this might be his last outing. As a very, very short sliding ball getting in there and caught by Johnston to make it a 3-1 count. And here come the ball 4 calls.
And even though we've said that he's starting to kind of warm up, get the pitches that he wants, a lot of it comes down to the pitch count on why there's people up in the bullpen right now. It was maybe a little bit too late if he wanted to go a bit further in the game to kind of get to the point where he is. But at least he's ending on a little bit more of a high note compared to where he started.
This one in there, swung on and caught an awkward part of the bat. It's going to make it out past the second base into center field and neatly caught there by the second baseman, Brandon Daly. So the Majors don't add anything to their tally with Starling Joseph on third base. But we'll be back shortly as the Cardinals take the field offensively. You're watching Majors TV. I'm Ty White with Justin Koehler. We'll be right back.
Get suited up with us for our big night. We went to Collins Clothiers. They had suits and tuxedos in various colors and styles. The staff helped us pick exactly what we wanted. They custom fit our suits for the perfect fit. They even matched us to our date's dress. It was so much fun trying on suits with the boys on the VIP night. They even got us pizza while we tried clothes on.
For prom kids, of course, are going to be the best dressed.
We felt so confident and looked amazing.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
Welcome back to Labatt Memorial Park in this contest between the London Majors and the Hamilton Cardinals. Inside the Game Day London broadcast booth, I'm Ty White, joined alongside Justin Koehler. Justin, 1-0 for the Majors so far. Certainly a bit back in their swing of things, so to speak, coming off the loss last Friday to the Kitchener Panthers. How are they looking today?
Pretty good so far. Like I said a bit earlier, it kind of feels a little bit different than it actually kind of statistically is so far, with the teams pretty close in terms of hits, pretty close in terms of score, but it's felt very different from a pitching perspective. And the Majors relying a lot on their infield defense as we've been going through the game, with a lot of routine plays over to short, second, third. So some great action so far at the very least, but it's felt like a good game in terms of where the Majors are sitting. And they clearly have a 1-0 lead to show for it.
Now, you talked a little bit about the mound. Travis Key still out there for the Majors right now. He's pitched a solid game so far. No runs allowed against him, and has recorded a lot of quick outs we've seen.
Yes, he's been incredibly efficient so far in this outing, very similar to how he was in his last outing too, so it's nice to see that consistency going from one game into the next.
Now the Hamilton Cardinals appear to have someone warming up in the bullpen, and it's number 26, Colby Ring. of Langley, British Columbia, to relieve the duties of Owen Slater. Slater's pitched a lot so far in this one, nearing 50 pitches.
Well, and Ring has only played in one other game so far this season, made it through one inning, was able to get the win in that last game, but walked 2 in that outing and didn't record any strikeouts either. So he's hoping to replicate things in terms of how he performed and hoping to carry the baton once he comes back through into the next inning.
Travis Keys getting loose. Lineup staying the same so far for this Majors team. And coming back in now is Dennis Day-Banning. Day-Banning had a double in his last time at bat. And Keys getting ready to deliver to him. 30 pitches on the day for Keys so far, as that one is smoked backwards. Deep and foul into the bleachers. And an 0-1 count for Dennis Day-Banning.
And you mentioned already, but definitely arguably the best hitter on the team with a pretty high average, batting .357. 5 hits so far on the season, including 2 home runs. So definitely a key part of the power, which really starts to line up with where he is on the lineup today, too, batting in the 4 spot.
That's a strike in there, swung in by Day-Banning, and quickly drops to 0-2. He's had a career high for home runs in 2023, 6. And spent 2021 with the Welland Jackfish. Played his ball in college at Humber College, as he's going to take a chop back one there into the center field area, and easily collected from Starling Joseph.
Well hit, good contact on it, but similarly, again, got a little bit underneath the ball, left it a bit up in the air, a bit too much. With the way that the wind's going today, definitely would kind of bring it back in towards the ballpark too. So that's it's a quick 1 out for the Majors.
Zach Marriott checking back in. As this pitch is in there for strike 1 off a sliding ball from Travis Keys.
And Marriott, too, also one of the only players who've had a couple home runs so far this season. So they're definitely looking for some offense here.
That ball hit up the middle, and easily to first by Tyler Mosher. Over to Cardoso. And gets out Zach Marriott there. Another 2 quick outs from Travis Keys. Seems to just have the knack to be able to do that, and he's doing it really well so far.
Well, and the key thing that we're looking for is, again, that efficiency. He's getting these outs really, really quick, so even though he's leaving a few pitches in the strike zone, he's really relying on that defense and trusting his defense too, which, again, helps him pitch well, helps keep his team fresh, and then it keeps his own pitch count down too to help him go further in the game.
Less than 30 pitches in this one as he delivers his 30th in there for a strike.
It's just impressive. He's really messing with the timing of these batters. He's messing with the location on these batters. He's able to freeze a few up and then still dropping in the key strikes when he can to get these outs.
And then there is Lane Renault right now, who takes a big hack at that one. 0-2 with 2 outs. And the side could be retired in order here by Travis Keys.
He's getting some big hacks from some of these guys, too. No little light swings on him. When they're going for it, they're really going for it.
Keys is throwing the heat. That fastball wide and outside. So the count drops to 1-2. 2 outs at the top of the 4th. Keys on the 1-2. In there. Looking over to the umpire, and he's going to say no. He did not go.
Oh, and he thought about it, though. You can tell when some of these batters really want to swing at these pitches that are a bit outside, but able to hold off there.
He definitely did. The 2-2. With 2 outs, a tough at-bat here is swung on again. Keeping himself alive is Renaud. Making it tough on Travis Keys. Not letting him change sides easily.
Well, able to keep it alive, and it's very similar to how they were in the first inning as well, getting 2 quick outs and then a lot of foul balls, a lot of consistency to end up getting a couple hits back in the first inning too. So hopefully they're trying to get some similar results, hopefully able to get a run on the board from it.
This one in there, swung on, strike 3 called. Travis Keys sits down another one. At the bottom of the 4th, sits down the Cardinals in order. 2 beautiful strikeouts and keeps London above by 1 run. The Majors batting offensively next, leading off is Byron Reichstein. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Majors Baseball on Majors TV. Welcome back inside Labatt Memorial Park, where the London Majors about to get back on the plate to bat offensively. Byron Reichstein up next. 0 for 1 on the day. And it looks like officially our pitching change is in there. It's going to be number 26, Colby Ring. Now, Colby Ring, familiar to one of the players on this team, specifically Caden Cardoso, a friend of his, having played ball with him at Antelope Valley in Lancaster, California. Also played at Johnson County Community College in Overland Park, Kansas.
Well, this is his 2nd year with the Cardinals so far. Played a lot more in the playoffs of last year in particular, going over getting a 12.6 ERA in the playoffs last year through 1 game. Across the regular season, he went through 12 games, had a 7.24 ERA, and lasted over 54 innings across the board. Gave up 35 walks and 37 strikeouts. So far, he's hoping to get the ERA a little bit down, but keep those strikeout and walk numbers up. And so far, he's sitting at 2 walks, 1 strikeout so far, and a 0 ERA to get the season going. So he's hoping to keep that rolling against the Majors here today.
Reichstein takes his place.
And for those who wanted a little bit of a Blue Jays update today, as they're playing Detroit, the game has now gotten to an 11-9 score in the 8th inning. So started off a little bit slow, but both teams really got the offense going. And the Blue Jays really needing those offensive bursts as they go through the season.
Now, Colby Ring for the Cardinals did not have much time off between his senior year at the University of Antelope Valley and the 2023 season for the Cards. So we're expecting a more of a fresh, rested arm, ready to deliver some heat for the Cardinals. A very unique pitching style, very up and down, coming in hard, over the top of the head, and quickly 2-0 from Colby Ring. Inside on Krasminski, that's going to be called for ball 3. And the ball 4 chance back once again from the Majors fan base, I should say, here on a sunny and pretty Sunday afternoon. Ball 4 is called as Byron Reichstein is walked to first base. The Majors once again leading off with a walk.
You can call me a bit of a fanboy of those ball 4 calls, because I absolutely love hearing it up here. I love the interaction from the audience here over at Labatt Memorial Park, just how excited and passionate they get about this team too, and clearly you can hear it across the board from how they're interacting with the game.
Definitely some of the loudest and proudest fans across the Intercounty Baseball League.
And here come the ball 5 calls coming in.
They're doing our job for us. Victor Plaz up at the plate now. Ball 6 chance we're going to hear.
So we'll see, and you'll definitely start to see why his stance comes into play when it comes to the pitcher. The very high vertical kind of 12-6 look, but with that,
Plaz smokes one fair. Down the left field line, he's going to get the signal to run for second. The throw is going to be close, but he's in there safely. Nice play by Victor Plaz. Good instinct to go around there and safely get to second base. The throw was not in time from Danny Berg.
On a great hit, great location, too. That's exactly where you want it to go if you're going to pull it on the infield. Go right past the third base bag there, right past the third baseman as well, able to get that hit and able to stretch it into a double, too, which is great to see.
So 2 on for the Majors in the bottom of the 4th with no outs. And Brad Verhoeven, 1 for 2 on the day, stepping back in with Reichstein in scoring position. Harden over there. That's going to be down in the dirt, though, called for ball 1.
And so as I was saying, when you have these kind of very 12-6 movement with the pitcher's arms there, it gives them the opportunity to then have pitches go from the center and then break away a little bit easier because they can control that starting right at the top and coming down.
As you said, that one floated across nicely. And I think they're going to say it was ticked on. It was indeed. So the count evens itself out at 1 apiece.
Majors happy to have 2 in scoring position right off the get-go for this inning here.
Colby Ring's delivery. And therefore another ball. 2-1 count. We have more action in the Cardinals bullpen. As number 32, Casey Howard, who saw some time in the exhibition game against the Majors, swung on hard, and that's going to get through the shortstop into score 1. Reichstein is in, rounding second to third, in there nicely. The Majors score 2. It's an RBI, 2 RBI single. Plaz gets in, Reichstein gets in. And the offensive onslaught is starting to become significant for London.
Giving London fans a lot to cheer about. A lot of London fans got on their feet during that hit there and definitely created some excitement up here in the booth too. So that's exactly what I see, especially with no outs and 2 in scoring position. That's the perfect outcome that you would have wanted right there.
So that one poked through that second base area between second and third. Keeler Loveridge couldn't stop it. And then a slow throw on again. Back to the home plate area, so the Majors capitalize on a good opportunity. As Brad Verhoeven DHing today, the 2 RBI double. Swung on again by Mosher. That's going to hit Brendan Daly square in the chest. As Verhoeven rounds to third base. And a single from Tyler Mosher.
Well, and it just really ate him up over the second baseman there, not able to come through with it and collect it. So that was Daly not able to come up with that ball there, and they really come in hot. I know it doesn't sometimes look like that on the broadcast, but these, when the ball's off the bat, they're quick, and they can hurt too in a lot of instances. So not able to collect it, but that's to the Majors' benefit right there.
So we're taking a second here to go to the mound and talk to Colby Ring, as this is his first time on the rubber this game. He's going to have to calm down a little bit here, putting his team in a dangerous situation. No outs, 2 men still on, 2 runs already scored, and London's tally's at 3 right now.
Well, it's definitely not the start that you want. 4 hits in general to get it going, but then already having 2 runners in without recording a single out is definitely a tough way to get into the game.
So Tommy Reyes-Cruz back out there. He is 2 for 2 in this game so far. A dangerous player to be in the batter's box right now if you're Colby Ring.
Well, and Reyes-Cruz just wants to keep the momentum going in here, keep the Majors hitting, keep the bats rolling, and then keep the bases going around from one to another too.
That one swung on. Out to right field. It's going to be chased by Dave Banning, who makes the catch. Trying to make it to home plate now, and he's safe, is Brad Verhoeven. Made the run nicely. Dove in there, has got some dirt on the jersey, and the Majors up to 4 now.
Well, the throw from the outfield there in towards the catcher was a bit low and actually ended up hitting him on the way into home, giving Mosher the opportunity to actually then go into second too, so advancing from first base to second base there.
Gibson Kresminski back in now. As you mentioned, Mosher on second. And a sac fly from Reyes Cruz. The throw was just way too far for Dennis Day Banning, although he did make the out. So, still one on for the Majors.
And another one down in the dirt. It's a consistency we've been seeing between both these pitchers here. Not quite able to lock in some control and some command over in the strike zone, leaving a little bit to be desired. And a lot of pitches that are, to be honest, just completely uncompetitive for these batters that they aren't even really reacting to. And it's those instances like this where they do end up seeing a pitch that does come into the zone that they instantly know, hey, I'm going to clobber this one.
That one is swung on by Kresminski. Chance to get it to first, and he does so calmly off a routine play. And the throw from Zach Marriott. Getting out Kresminski. Kresminski 0 for 3 on the day now. Tyler Mosher remains at second base.
And now's one of the guys that they want up to the plate, and Starling Joseph, who's 2 for 2 on the day, including a stolen base as well. So it puts a lot into the head of the pitcher, too. Not only if this guy gets a hit, is he on base, but then you also start having to think about the speed on the bases as well, adding a little bit more complications to a pitcher who's struggling to find the zone a little bit today.
Starling Joseph with a chance to do even further damage. That tosses in there for ball 1. For ball 2, I should say. Joseph, a great showing today after going 0-4 against the Panthers at home. He's got his swagger back as another ball in the dirt from Colby Ring, having a lot of trouble out there on the mound.
And defensively, they really have Starling set to pull here with a lot of the infield shifted towards the left side. Shortstop nowhere close to the second base bag, hoping to just get that quick out of here to try and get out of it here in the bottom of the 4th.
The 2-0 in there, swung on, and Joseph is going to poke it past the shortstop. Rounding the bases, Mosher. Mosher in there to score. And an RBI single. 3 for 3, Starling Joseph.
And even though they had him to pull, he was still able to get it in between the third baseman and the shortstop there to get that hit going. A lot of good power off of it. And collecting yet again for the Majors in this inning.
Still 2 outs as it looks like Colby Ring is going to get talked to even further now. And there will be a pitching change. The pitching changes are presented by Throw, London's original knife throwing. It's going to be number 32 taking the mound now, Casey Howard.
And Casey's definitely one of the veteran players on the team, born in 1993 from Brantford, Ontario, so not terribly far away there. And even though he was born in Brantford, playing for Hamilton, he actually went to the University of Guelph as well. So definitely making his way around a little bit across southwestern Ontario.
One of our sponsors, Throw, is going to send us to a short message right now.
Hi, my name is Jess, and I'm a lane coach at Throw London. If you want to come throw some big axes, come on down to the East End. You've got to be 13 years old, but anybody older can throw. We've got leagues. You can book an event with your friends, family, celebrate, whatever you want. We've got a bar. Come on down.
Thanks to Throw for that small ad for us. we as a broadcast team had the pleasure of going over to Throw and had a great time for a little preseason outing.
Oh, it was tons of fun. I almost made it right to get the gold in the final little things. We kind of split off into teams. I ended up throwing against each other, and I made it to the final matchup. But unfortunately, to Matt Hiscox's detriment, I was unable to kind of come up with the win there.
Well, here we go back, and it's number 32 on the mound, as we mentioned, Casey Howard.
And Howard, like I said, is definitely a veteran in the league so far and has made his way around a few teams. He actually started back in Burlington when they had a team when they were with the Burlington Herd, and then moved over to the Jackfish for a few seasons from 2019 all the way to 2023. Has a career of .667 ERA, 8 wins, 13 losses.
As Cardoso takes a swing at that one, it's going to make its way far out to the left field side and foul. So with 2 outs, Cardoso's down 0-1.
And interestingly enough, I believe this will actually be Howard's 100th game in the IBL after playing 99 across his career so far.
He's had an illustrious career, already a champion with a Welland Jackfish. In 2023, as Cardoso's going to hit one right up the middle, past Loveridge. Starling Joseph rounds second over to third. The Majors have a man on first, a man on third, and the dangerous Eduardo Diolio up to bat now.
And again, I'm always impressed by just the sheer speed of Starling Joseph, able to make his way from first to third on that hit, where most other players on a little grounder in its way to the outfield would have probably held at second because it did go right up the middle. It makes a lot of base runners kind of afraid of getting that out, trying to stretch it over to third, but him with his speed, his confidence, he's able to get there well ahead of the throw.
Cardinals definitely had some fielding trouble today, as Diolio takes strike one. Still 2 outs, but an opportunity to score even more runs for London, as the heart of their order are in there right now.
And Howard definitely more known as a good strikeout thrower. He's thrown 142 strikeouts across his career compared to only 91 walks. So his strikeout to walk ratio is pretty solid right now compared to other players.
Diolio hits one up the middle himself. That's caught by the second baseman. The throw to first is not in time. A pick attempt was no good from Luis Bernardo off the throw from Brandon Daly.
Well, it was definitely a little bit throw. Had to try and scoop it up right there and just not able to come up clean with it.
And from that, the bases are with 2 on, and it's going to score one more.
And so with that, that'll also be an error charged to the second baseman right now.
As Diolio hits that single. And in the score was Starling Joseph. So Joseph, a strong day for him. 3 for 3 with a stolen base and 1 run scored. Byron Reichstein back in there now. And a 6-0 Majors lead.
And this is definitely more what we're used to seeing from this Majors team, and it's almost refreshing, especially coming off of how the performances from last season. I know it having the outings kind of like they did on Friday against the Panthers raised one question mark, but it's nice to see that games like that have become a bit more of the anomaly versus last season where these offensive games kind of became a little bit of the anomaly.
Colby Ring says, "My bad" on the mound as another ball is outside. Or from Casey Howard, I should say. Colby Ring and Casey Howard having a tough time in this 4th inning. So we've seen 5 runs from the Majors. Strike 2 is called, and a full count.
And again, a lot of this with 2 outs on the board, too. Both teams have really trying to be collecting in runs on those 2-out situations.
That one was swung on, narrowly got in there. Fouled off by Reichstein. Got a tiny piece of it. And the Cardinals desperately looking to get out of this situation. tough defensive go for them in this fourth inning. That one in there, and it's going to be called for a ball. And the umpire says now it's going to be a full count.
And Reichstein able to draw a lot of these full counts just based off of his stance and his swing. You'll see he has a lot more of a contained, tighter swing compared to some of the other players on their team. And with that, his bat speed's a lot quicker, and he's able to hold off for that extra millisecond to get an extra look at the ball as it's coming in.
Definitely noticed that in batting practice as Reichstein is going to rip one out to the center field area. And an easy catch from Brandon Nicholson. So the Majors add 5 to their tally and lead the Hamilton Cardinals 6-0 through 4. When we come back, 5th inning, and the Cardinals are at bat. Ty White with Justin Koehler. You're watching Majors TV. Welcome back inside Labatt Memorial Park, where the Majors have taken a grandiose lead over the Hamilton Cardinals. 5 runs in that 4th inning. Really impressive, and that's the offense we're used to seeing from this Majors side, Justin.
Well, it's definitely now reflecting a little bit more of kind of how it seemed as the game got going. I know in the first few innings it seemed very close, even though the pitching has seemed very either side of the coin so far to get the game going. But now the Majors have really blown it open with 8 hits. 3 hits compared with Hamilton only having 3 hits, and it's kind of exactly what the crowd here was expecting a little bit too, just from the pace and the feel of the game so far.
Great hitting from the Majors, and that can be greatly attributed to 2 of their top players, Starling Joseph and Caden Cardoso. Joseph 3 for 3 today, as well as a stolen base and an RBI single. Caden Cardoso walked at a sac fly and a single of his own. So the big bats coming up major today for London.
Well, the exact thing that I like to see when looking at my kind of scorecard in front of me is I'm seeing a lot of color across the entire board, too. So there have been some good performances from everyone, top of the order all the way down to the bottom, too. So it's nice to see that kind of offense spread out, too. And it gives you a lot of hope and a lot of optimism as the season keeps ramping forward.
That one in there, and it's going to be a strike called. Recorded 1 out there. Another quick out for Travis Keys.
One of the best words to describe him so far in this game has just been sharp. Very efficient, able to keep these batters on their toes, and he's had a spectacular performance so far going into today's game.
By our count, Keys has thrown just near 30 pitches. 40 pitches, I should say, as his 41st is in there for ball 1. His count significantly lower than all 3 of the Cardinals pitchers combined today.
Which, again, just shows to the impressive start that we've been seeing so far, especially when you look at how Slater went over 20 pitches and hit the first inning alone, already about half of what Keys has been able to do so far today.
Another strike in there. Counts at 1-1 with one out. Swung on hard and back. It's going to take a big chop and fall back onto the field. Could have been dangerous if you were a bird sitting up top.
I'll always understand what Dylan would say when he's up here in the booth, how sometimes those line foul outs that come right behind, even though we're in our own little box behind some netting, can definitely scare us a tad bit every now and then.
The 1-2 smoked by Johnston. Well foul. And a strikeout opportunity for Travis Keys. The 1-2 in there. Swung on. Got a small piece of it. Stays at 1-2. The sky has changed a little bit. The sun is being hidden by some clouds. Still nice and blue out there.
Nice breeze today, too, which kind of keeps everyone in the stands pretty happy.
Keeps everyone cool and in check as a ball is hit right up the middle. It's going to be in time for a play as Tommy Reyes-Cruz got across to that one to cover very nicely for the second baseman across to Cardoso and punches out Andrew Johnston.
Took a little bit of a hop there, so I almost wasn't sure for a quick second if they were able to make that throw in time, but the quick transition over from receiving the ball to throwing it over to first base solidified another out here. And again, another efficient inning from Keys as we get going, and another great defensive play from the infield.
Keys in there again, a slower ball moving inside that was moving across the plate. In there for strike one. With two down for the Majors. The 0-1. Bit outside off a fastball, and it's 1-1. This is Brenton Daly, who's 0 for 1 today, playing second base for the Cardinals. And a 1-2 count. That one in there high and outside of a fastball and collected by Diolio.
And Daly a ground out to second on his previous at-bat there. Hoping to keep the team alive again with 2 outs on the board.
2-2 with 2 outs, and strike three's gonna be called. Travis Keys continues his prolific day, sits down another one, retiring the side in order, keeping the Majors lead at 6.
What a beautiful pitch, too. You'll see me go bonkers and go crazy over some of these curveballs. The fact that he was able to drop it in with no movement at all from Daly, didn't even hesitate to want to swing at that pitch, is exactly what you want to see and proves to show just how much Keys is in the heads of these batters. Able to throw out a whole bunch of different pitches, going off speed, going breaking balls, going fastballs in different locations, and able to freeze up these batters. Says a lot about just the quality of his performance so far going into today's game. It's been just spectacular to watch, and this also comes off his previous outing where he was showing just as much dominance across the board. And as someone who pitching is one of my number one things that I look out for, I'm one of the kind of baseball nerds, so to speak, who really like the low-scoring pitching duels. Seeing this sort of a performance out from the Majors starter today has been impeccable to see.
Now back on the mound for the Cardinals is Casey Howard in relief for Colby Ring, and then who was also in relief for Owen Slater. Cardinals have a tough time on the mound today, down 6-0 right now, and it's very much a damage control scenario for them.
Well, that's the centerpiece of your team at any given game is your pitchers. And if your pitchers aren't able to get the command, that'll also translate to the offense as well, because they'll start feeling like they need to contribute a little bit more to carry some of the weight that these pitchers are leaving there, which might also be contributing to a few of these strikeouts as well, where they're trying to almost overperform, trying to get something on the board to get them going. But it just always creates a bit of a downward spiral when the pitcher isn't able to get the command that they want.
Now the Majors are going to be back out there. Victor Plaz first up to bat. 2 for 2 today, a single and a double. Also scoring 1 run. Plaz has had an impressive day so far, Justin.
Oh, yeah, definitely, to say the least. He's had 3 hits so far, including a single, a double, and then one of the runs over that last inning, too. So he's had a pretty great showing across the board today. And again, coming from the 7th spot in the order there, in the lineup, shows a lot, just the offensive prowess from every single position in this lineup.
Takes a swing on that one off Howard's 11th pitch. And it's 0-1. Second offering to Plaz is hit on right up the middle. Couldn't give him enough time. He's safe at first base.
Great hustle there on that hit. It was a little slow roller up the middle, and but his pace, his hustle to get down the first base side is the best way to get a hit, and exactly what these coaches try and teach as well. No matter what, any hit, good or bad, when you're out of the box, you need to hustle, and that's exactly what we just saw in front of us right now.
3 for 3 on the day is Victor Plaz, with Brad Verhoeven stepping back in now. He's 1 for 2 with a 2 RBI single and a pitch that got by Andrew Johnston. Is not going to see any action from the infield as Victor Plaz remains at first base.
And again, a little shout out to everyone watching live today so far. For anyone watching this after the fact, kind of seeing a little bit into the future, if you want to tune in live during these games, we always broadcast every single home game, and it's always great to see the kind of community building and everyone talking to each other, everyone having a great time, and whether you're here at the stands or at home watching some Majors baseball.
It's a great day to be at the ballpark if you have nothing to do on a Sunday afternoon. And we have another player warming up in the bullpen for the Cardinals. They're reaching rather deep into their bullpen this afternoon, as this pitch to Verhoeven is swung on and fouled again. And a 1-2 count with no outs at the bottom of the 5th.
So that is number 7, Drew Mainprize, warming up over in the bullpen there.
Mainprize also a player who saw time in the exhibition game versus this London side, as Verhoeven slaps one out to center field, and it's going to be an easy play for Brandon Nicholson. One down for Hamilton. And Tyler Mosher steps back in. Impressive at the back of the order. He's 2 for 2 on the day so far, both with singles. And he's got Victor Plaz on first base. Mosher takes a whack at that one. It's going to hit off the light post and ricochet back down into the stands.
Glad everyone had a bit of a heads up over on that foul ball. Yeah, like you said, ricocheting off that pole. But it keeps the souvenir in the ballpark, which can be a good thing as well.
Definitely nice for the younger fans. It looks like one caught one there, as that ball from Howard outside. The offering to Mosher. We're going to have Plaz going, and he's going to be able to get safe and in there. Another stolen base, and this one from Victor Plaz. He's at second.
That was a closer attempt on that pickoff right there for the stolen base. But again, still a little bit high, a little bit outside, which allowed Plaz to make it in there pretty successfully, pretty uncontested. But it was definitely a little bit closer than the previous stolen base attempt that we saw.
This one in there, Mosher takes a hard chop at that one. Doesn't get a piece of it. Count at 2-2. Mosher played his college ball at Davenport University in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Plaz dancing around again on second base.
As Mosher takes a chop at it. had a chance, and a long run is required, and the catch is made by Danny Berg for the second out. So Mosher is sat down, and Majors right back to the top of the order. Tommy Reyes-Cruz.
Well, now you have to give a bit of a props to left fielder Danny Berg right there for just the amount of hustle to make it over to the foul side to make that grab.
Quite a long trot for him out there on the left field side. But able to make it over in time to record the out as Victor Plaz showing some movement on second base. And strike one called against Reyes-Cruz from Howard.
The Majors kind of show off their speed across the board with a lot of players who are able to steal bases, a lot of players who are able to get in the heads of these pitchers. To mind comes down to, Victor Plaz, one of the new additions as well. Champ Gardner as well is very well known for his speed too on the bases. And then, of course, Starling Joseph, who's already stolen a base today as well.
Counts at 1-1 with 2 outs. And the bottom of this 5th inning, which is a runaway game for the Majors so far. Victor Plaz at second. Reyes-Cruz swings on that one. And 1-2 is the count.
Been really keeping it interesting in these two out counts so far in the game so far.
Howard taking his time on this delivery. It's going to be in there, swung on and fouled off again by Reyes-Cruz.
A good at-bat so far, just to keep hitting those pitches, keep this at-bat alive in a 2-strike count.
The 1-2 pitch swung on and belted down the first base line. It's going to see Victor Plaz get around third and in there safely at home for an RBI double coming from Tommy Reyes-Cruz. 2 for 4 on the day.
And a great hit right on the line, too, so it makes it tough for any defender to try and get there, and that increases the time where he can make his way over to second with the right fielder having to run all the way over just to recover that ball and not able to get him in time with the throw over to second base.
Second in the order, Gibson Kresminski, 0 for 3 today. Only player on the Majors who has not gotten on base.
Yeah, Kresminski would like to join the fun here so far with a nice little base hit of his own.
As an onslaught of offense has been seen throughout the lineup today for London. 7-0 leading comfortably through the 5th inning.
And for those at home wondering, the Blue Jays have officially lost today's game 14-11. So it was a high-scoring one, but not able to come up with a win.
That one in there. The count's at 1-1. Even to Kresminski. Not having his best day today. Especially considering he is one of the more prolific hitters on this Major side. And he's going to get one right up, collected by Loveridge and over to first base. That's going to record the 3rd out of the inning in the bottom of the 5th. So it's bringing us to 6, but the Majors capitalize once again, adding 1 run to their tally. They lead 7-0 over the Hamilton Cardinals. Ty White with Justin Koehler, and you're watching Majors TV.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
Welcome back inside Labatt Memorial Park, where the London Majors are taking care of business against the Hamilton Cardinals, leading 7-0 through the first 5. Into the 6th now, Travis Keys still on the mound, having quite a fantastic game, Justin.
Yeah, that's to say the least, across the board pretty much. And the Majors are really capitalizing off the stellar pitching behind them, getting those 7 runs onto the board, and really just starting to blow this game open a little bit with the Cardinals not able to get a whole lot going offensively across the board.
Pitch counts at 48, according to our tally on Travis Keys, keeping that number relatively low. And he's had the benefit of a lot of quick outs we've seen, and that's attributed to the strong infielding that the Majors have had today. Another ball in there. That's going to be 2 balls, no strikes, 2-0 count.
Well, that's one of the main things that these pitchers are told is you don't need to be very fancy, just throw strikes. You want to rely on this defense quite a bit. And even that said, Keys has been able to record quite a few strikeouts in the game so far, too, so he's getting kind of both sides of it.
He gets a big swing there from Brandon Nicholson. Cardinals back to the top of their order. And it's a 2-1 count. Swung on, and that's going to get out too far for the hands of the defensive player Victor Plaza on that one. Reyes Cruz came back across and unfortunately got that too late for the Majors, so it's going to be a single for Brandon Nicholson.
Well, and good positioning, good recovery as well from Reyes Cruz to be there to make sure it didn't go any further into the outfield to kind of risk that potential of it stretching from a single into a double. But just one of those great located hits, and we've seen that a couple times so far from the Cardinals to get the game going, but they definitely would surely like a few more of those now with a runner on first.
A ball sliding across is called for a ball.
Berg did not seem very happy with that call at all. It touching the far edge of the zone there.
So the 0-1 from Keys back in there. Over, way inside, opposed to the last one, way outside. Evens the count up at 1 apiece. Keys in there, and it's swung on hard by Berg, looking down back at his dugout. Disappointed after that hack.
And drops it right inside there, so I wouldn't be terribly shocked if Keys either went with something like a fastball up in the zone or something down in the zone as well. I wouldn't be shocked if he threw a curveball in here right next pitch.
So Koehler says we should look for a curveball. Keys, and he was going to get one that's going to drop in there, so nice call from you, Justin.
Had to give a little
breaking.
Had to give a little fist bump in the air.
Got to celebrate when we can.
Again, a lot of these pitchers know exactly what they're doing, and when they set up a pitch on the inside, especially back-to-back like we kind of saw right there, they're setting the player up for a potential pitch, try to expand the zone out to the outside. So even though I can predict it a little bit, it's still a lot for these batters to have to try and face.
So that one is going to be able to almost stay fair. It's going to drop foul, so it looks like Danny Berg's going to have to make his way back to home plate.
Well, a great heads-up play from the catcher, Deolio, there. Just he could have grabbed it in the air to maybe try to attempt to throw to first, but then that would advance the runner over to third. So letting that ball go foul, avoiding touching it, avoiding that contact, forcing the batter back to the box, not only kind of tires him out a little bit, but it prevents a runner from being on third base right now.
As you can see on your screen, Brandon Nicholson sitting at second base with no outs in the top of the 6th. Keys looking to change that here on a 2-2 count. That delivery in there, chopped on. He gets a piece of it, so Danny Berg will stay alive. On this 2-2, what are we looking for here from Keys?
Right now, that was a bit down in the zone, so I wouldn't be terribly shocked if he then went upstairs with a fastball, or if he actually, vice versa, went inside with kind of an inside slider. I wouldn't be shocked either way. or he could try and expand the zone a little bit outwards as well.
Keys on the 2-2. That's going to be hit on and just narrowly foul. Certainly sent Byron Reichstein on a little run and worried him, but Danny Berg keeping himself alive once again. And a tough at-bat here for Travis Keys.
And now you'll see Keys start to try and mess with the timing there. You could definitely tell that Berg was a bit late on that pitch. So now I'd almost like to see him maybe go a bit higher with the fastball here, go a bit further up in the zone. Or, again, just because I like the curveball, I'd love to see another curveball. I'm always happy seeing him.
Can this be the strikeout dagger from Keys? That one swung on. Kresminski's going to have to make a deep run for it. Going to drop foul, ranging back near the warning track in that 330 side. A long run from Kresminski and a long at-bat here from Danny Berg.
And again, looked like he tried to expand the zone, trying to go upstairs with another fastball there, trying to get him looking up higher in the zone. So on this next pitch in particular, I wouldn't be shocked if he went with a slider down and in or a curveball down and out of the zone. He could even try and have it getting to touch the ground because of how much this batter is trying to look up in the zone right now. But a great at-bat so far just to keep this alive with a lot of foul balls. So a great effort right here from Berg.
Berg doing well, making Keys' job just that more tough. And it's going to be in there for a full count. Ball 3, and that one was inside, similar to what you said, Justin.
I'm on a roll here. I like
you
to
are. Our very own Tony Romo of baseball.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'd go that far quite yet, but...
Well, you're 2 for 2. You're making the right calls, and can Keys dial up a strikeout? He can. It's going to be knocked right back towards him. Almost out at first, and that ball's going to be just slow enough to advance Brandon Nicholson to third base, as well as keeping Danny Berg safe with a single there. The dribbler too slow for Tyler Mosher to chase down.
You can see Keys try and go for that as well, but I don't think either of them would have been able to get there in time to get the out with just how slow of a roller that was over towards the second base side.
Definitely got Mosher off base, as you mentioned, had Keys running as well. And Luis Bernardo, 1 for 2 on the day, the first baseman checking back in.
And this is one of the first times since the first inning that the Cardinals have had a couple men on and one in scoring position as well.
As that ball is hammered back once again in the warning track area. It's going to drift outside of the ballpark, though.
Drifting foul, not too much of a surprise with the way the wind's going today. So players on both sides, if they're really looking for that home run, might want to try and be going opposite field on this side.
Definitely a good opportunity here, as you mentioned, 2 men on. The dangerous at-bat of Luis Bernardo. No outs. A chance to climb back a little bit here.
And Keys with a bit of an off-speed on the outside edge. Over a bit upstairs. Wouldn't be shocked if he tried to go inside a little bit on this, as long as he doesn't overcompensate the pitch a bit too much.
Throw to first from Travis Keys is not quick enough to get Danny Berg out. Not too much of a lead off there.
Well, you probably won't see too much in terms of leadoffs here, especially with him being a left-handed pitcher facing that first base side the whole time. Makes it a little tougher to get some of those jumps.
Was giving him a nasty stare down right there, threw it right back to Cardoso. And Berg has to tremble back to first base again.
Keys making sure everyone stays on their toes a little bit with some of those pickoff throws.
Definitely doing his job extremely well today. As the 60, that was this pitch number 60 from him, is going to drift foul. Cardoso chased it, but amounted to nothing in the end. And nearly hit our photographer down there.
And that might be one of those particular instances where the wind might have actually been a factor with the direction that it's going, kind of forcing that ball out of play a little bit. Different circumstances, different day. Maybe that's an out for Cardoso right there.
The noise and crowd ramping up here as the 1-2 is coming towards Bernardo. Keys in there. That's going to be swung on. One-handed chop from Luis Bernardo. keeps himself alive with a 1-2 count.
And Keys looking to try and get out of a bit of a dangerous situation here. Really expanding the zone on the outside edge there, so I wouldn't be shocked if we saw another slider going a little further in that direction or coming right inside with a fastball to try and get him to swing at it.
Let's see if you can go 3 for 3 today, Justin.
Here's hoping.
In there, high. Not sure he wanted to get that high.
Yeah.
So he might have been right in the end there, Justin.
That might have been.
Nonetheless, that was high. Count evens itself out at 2 apiece. Still with no outs. So Keys in a bit of a tough situation. Pitched the whole game so far. This one in there, swung on. It's going to get out to center field, and an easy play for Starling Joseph. Throwing that one back in, but it's going to be a sac fly, and one will score in the end. So the first run of the day for Brandon Nicholson.
At least with that throw, they were able to hold the runner over at first. I'm almost shocked they didn't try to make a slight attempt to try and go from first to second right there with it. Pretty obviously, even from up here in the booth, that throw from Starling was going to be made to try and get the runner out at home. But the Majors will take it, keeping that runner over at first.
So the margin drops to 6 now. As Travis Keys in the 60s now for his pitch count. Doing a good job through 6 so far, and still no action in the Majors bullpen. So he has all the confidence. Brent Wales and Roop Chandradat. Something interesting, last game we saw from Kitchener, obviously. They had their man Jose Vasquez, who completed a full game, a complete game, with over 120 pitches total. That's extremely rare, no matter what level of baseball you watch these days.
Very impressive showing, and the Majors clearly could not get a whole lot going mixing in the pitches there, keeping them on their toes. So they're kind of having it on the opposite foot today here with their showing so far. And I think I can speak for the whole team when they would say that this is the kind of side that they would prefer to be on, being able to get those hits.
I think it's a pretty safe bet, and definitely more exciting for the home crowd. Seeing a lot of good at-bats today as Keys is going to look once again to that first base side. And Danny Berg getting back once again.
And for this one, with a runner on first and 1 out, I wouldn't be surprised if Keys kept most of his pitches down in the zone. We'll probably see a lot of sliders, a couple fastballs to try and induce a ground ball double play right there.
Keys in there off the 0-1. That's going to slide between second and first base, advancing Brandon Nicholson. And Dennis Day-Banning reaches first safely with a single.
And that's the drawback with exactly what I said of trying to do those pitches down in the zone, is sometimes they'll find their way through the infield. And with that, we officially have someone up in the bullpen.
It looks like it's Daniel Gore warming up for the Majors. Gore, who pitched in that first game, actually started against the Hamilton Cardinals in the May 4th exhibition game. Played his college ball in Michigan as well. So we'll see if he gets into the game next inning, as pitching coach Brent Wales is over talking to Travis Keys right now, who for the first time in this one has got himself in a little bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, and it's come off a few just unlucky hits, especially that last one, a ground ball in between the first and second baseman there to get into the outfield grass. A bit of small ball coming from the Cardinals, especially with the wind, and definitely a lot more kind of contact hitters on the team. Is kind of how you got to go with it. And that's honestly what we saw a lot from the Panthers as well on Friday, too, was a bit more of a small ball focus, getting aggressive early in the counts. Now, I would say that the Cardinals have been a bit better on trying to drive up the count a little bit more. We've been seeing just a lot of foul balls, especially in 2-out counts so far in the game. So they're trying to get something going here in the top of the 6th.
Check swing, but it's no matter anyways, because it's going to be a strike. An 0-1 count for Keys. As Dennis Day-Banning on first, Danny Berg on second, and Zach Marriott up at bat, and he's going to float one right by the second baseman, and in there to score for the second run of the game for the Hamilton Cardinals is Danny Berg. So another single for the Cardinals, and they're chopping away at this lead.
And I think he's, from the looks of it, is trying to get some of those ground ball double plays, so pitching a lot lower in the zone, but I think that's almost coming a bit to his detriment, where when he's trying to get those strikeouts, really trying to move the pitches around, working top and bottom, left and right, he's been able to get those calls and then able to get those ground balls from doing that. Right now, I almost think that he's trying a smidge too hard to get those ground outs, and it's biting him a bit so far.
Keys on the 0-1. Evens things up at 1 apiece with that ball. And Hamilton, definitely this game is not out of their reach yet. Not an insurmountable number of runs. But they certainly still have a mountain to climb, as that strike is in there from Travis Keys.
Well, and one child here at Labatt Memorial Park is not happy with the inning so far, hearing a few cries from up in our press box.
Pitch number 70 from Keys is going to be a little wild, and both runners will advance. So Dave Banning and Bernardo get to move around. Excuse me, Berg and Dave Banning get to move around.
And Renault trying to get things rolling a little bit here. He's 0 for 2 so far with a strikeout. He'd like to keep the momentum going for the Cardinals.
Keys in there on the 0, swung on by Renault. Like you said, having a bit of a tough time on the plate today.
Well, it's the pitches like that he needs to keep throwing. With that fastball right there, getting it a bit above the bat of Renault with enough speed to make him late on it as well. He needs to keep that sort of momentum and that mindset up to try and get these outs.
So that one high moves the count to full at 3-2. And definitely an interesting scenario here. Potential for bases loaded. The windup from Keys. Swung on and fouled off, keeping himself alive as Lane Renault.
You can see Keys definitely trying to move the eyesight of the batter up a little bit. Most of those pitches, I think the last 3 that we saw have been all a little bit higher in the zone. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's trying to set him up for a slider away here. Or a curveball to try and get the swinging strikeout here.
Home crowd heating up. On a full count with 1 out at the top of the 6th. 2 men on. Keys in there. Strike 3 called. Travis Keys sits down another one.
And that's the exact out that he needed right there to bring it up to 2 outs. Give that little confidence boost in the outing. Tough inning so far, but that'll definitely improve the morale from him a little bit.
Nice bit of pitching in a tough situation from Travis Keys. This may be the last we see him for today after the Majors record their 3rd out. And up steps Keylor Loveridge. 0 for 2 on the day as well. Swing on by Loveridge, and that'll be strike 1 for Travis Keys. Really tough day batting for the Cardinals towards the bottom and latter half of their rotation. Renault 0 for 2, 0 for 3 now. Loveridge 0 for 2. Johnston 0 for 2, and Brandon Daly also 0 for 2.
Yeah, they've had 2 innings of real kind of action so far in the game. And that was definitely in the first inning here in the 6th. And both times, most of it came from, like you mentioned, the top of the order as opposed to the bottom.
Keys in there again. That ball was sliding across. And a 2-1 count. The windup from Keys in there. It's swung on. It's going to be driven deep and back to Reichstein, who makes the catch in right field for another out. So the top of the 6th inning, transitioning to the bottom. The score is 7-2, and Travis Keys able to get out of a difficult situation there.
Well, it definitely could have been a lot worse there as well, with a few men still on base, leaving a couple to be desired for the Cardinals here. But still a pretty substantial game for the Majors so far. Even with those 2 runs coming in, still leading 7-2, they're still in a pretty good place. And even though Keys had a little bit of trouble towards the end in that 6th inning, still should be pretty happy, holding him to 6 hits and 2 runs on the game so far.
So the Majors back offensively to try to increase their lead, and after a bit of a tough stint defensively there, it wouldn't be to their chagrin to add even more runs onto their tally. Currently leading by 5 on a beautiful afternoon here at Labatt Memorial Park.
Well, they'd hopefully like to think they're in a good position to try and get some runs on the board with Joseph, Cardoso, and DeOlio, the next 3 up to the plate there, some of their main big hitters there.
As we have a pitching change in there. Our pitching changes are presented by Throw, London's original knife throwing. It's going to be Drew Mainprize, number 7 for the Cardinals.
So he's been in the league for a few years, starting back in 2021 with the Brantford Red Sox. Started with an 0-1 record that year with a 13.50 ERA. Since then, on his career, he's had a 9.59 ERA in 26 games and 35 2/3 innings. He's got a fairly balanced strikeout-to-walk ratio with 24 strikeouts and 29 walks, allowing 50 hits in his career so far. His latest effort was in 2023 with the Cardinals, where he played in 4 games with an 8.43 ERA. So he's hopefully trying to improve those numbers this season, having played in 1 game so far, lasting about 2 innings, getting 1 strikeout, and only giving up 2 hits.
Mainprize, formerly of the University of Guelph. Also had some time in the NCAA.
So that's a few that we've seen from the University of Guelph. I believe Howard was from the University of Guelph as well.
Couple Guelph pitchers on the mound. A lot of youth sports universities well represented in the Intercounty Baseball League. As the Majors are near the heart of that order again, as Starling Joseph is next up to bat. We really encourage you to come out here to the beautiful Labatt Memorial Park if you're in the London area, or an away fan even visiting, because this is the most historic baseball grounds on planet Earth since 1877. There has been baseball played here, downtown London. Definitely a surprising stat. You wouldn't think London, Ontario, of all places, especially maybe some places in the States, down south, or even in New York, but right here in London, Ontario, and home to the Majors and the London franchise for over 100 years.
Yeah, as someone who was born and raised here in London, it was definitely one of the kind of pride and joy of the city growing up is Labatt Memorial Park. And, the longest active ballpark in the world, which is a stat when I first started jumping on that I even had to look up. So it's a spectacular location here in London.
The Mainprize in there for strike 1, 0-1 count. Starling Joseph back up, having a fantastic day today. He's 3 for 3 with a stolen base and an RBI single. Swings on that one and quickly down 0-2.
Mainprize definitely getting off to a good start, throwing out 2 strikes to get the game going. And with that momentum that they gained in the 6th inning, he'd like to be the one to help kind of turn the tide here as the game enters into the later stages.
Some good pitching would be more than most welcome here for the Hamilton Cardinals if they struggle today through Owen Slater, Colby Ring, and Casey Howard.
And the Majors just looking to keep doing what they've been doing so far, getting those hits together, having some good at-bats, and really getting towards this Cardinals pitching.
The 0-2 back inside, and that's going to be strike 3 called off a hefty swing there from Starling Joseph. He's out for the first time today. And a strikeout recorded on his first opponent face there for Drew Mainprize.
Well, it was a good hack and great location for Mainprize there, trying to work them inside on the plate a little bit, try and get either some really soft contact or to just draw their eyes in a little bit further. Very difficult to get any semblance of power on a pitch right on the inside there, unless that's exactly what you're looking for.
Definitely a bit of a tough task here for Drew Mainprize, considering he's coming in when the Majors are at their really, really hot point in hitting, especially with Joseph, Cardoso, and DeOlio, the guaranteed 3 he has to face, all of whom are amongst the best hitters on this lineup as Cardoso lines one out to the right field area off a good swing, good show of the bat speed there, and he'll get on for a single. his third time on base today.
Cardoso's happy to see that. That was pretty confidently a base hit right off the bat there, going right into right field.
So Eduardo Diolio back in there. He is 1 for 3 on the day. As I mentioned, in the lead in the Intercounty Baseball League with 9 RBIs. This one in from main prize. It swung on and welted backwards towards the warning track. It's carrying onward, but it's going to amount to nothing in the end as Brandon Nicholson makes the play, the center fielder, and sits down Diolio.
One of the tough spots of the field to really hit that ball, almost right towards dead center where it's over 400 feet out there. He was able to get that a little bit more to the opposite side or to the pole side. It gets a little closer. For those who don't know, the far quarters are 330 feet here at Labatt Memorial Park. So just a tough spot to hit the ball right there.
If it was down one of the sides, it was most definitely going to be out of there.
And it was really traveling, too. The center fielder having to move back quite a bit on that one.
Definitely carrying. As Reichstein back in. 1 for 3 on the day with a walk, and Cardoso is going to steal a base. Gets across there. We've seen quite a bit of that today from London.
Uncontested, too, on that one. No throw attempt was made. I don't know if the infielders were quite aware that that was what they were wanting to do, with the catcher not even attempting to throw right there. But again, good heads-up base running from this team so far. We've seen a few stolen bases to get the game across.
Cardoso 3 for 4 on the day with a sac fly and a stolen base. Reichstein is 1 for 3. With 2 outs now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Main prize looking to keep this one at a 5-run margin. The pitch from main prize is in there. He's going to get the swing. And that is going to retire Reichstein. And that's going to be all she wrote for the 6th inning of play. Through 6, the London Majors lead the Hamilton Cardinals 7-2. And it will have a chance to add some more to their tally when we come back. You're watching London Majors Baseball on MajorsTV.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's The Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of MajorsTV.
We welcome you back inside Labatt Memorial Park, where we check in with our ball girls for today, Kai and Ella. Thanks so much for your fantastic work. One of them almost took a double there, sitting on the ball buckets.
Incredibly important part of the team, the ball girls there. Always great to see, and I'm sure they're having a great time down there as well.
Really have one of the friendliest all-around crews here at Labatt Memorial Park. A lot of smiling faces and a lot of smiling fans today watching their Majors have a 5-run lead over this Hamilton team. So Daniel Gore still out there and throws one past Andrew Johnston for strike one.
And Gore with a bit of a tough start to the season so far with an 18.89 ERA in 2 games with 1 start.
As that one is going to be hit off, and Throw over from Victor Plaz in time to Cardoso. Johnson was already slowing down his run. He knew that one was pretty much a done deal. And another out recorded for Daniel Gore.
Well, and that's one of those things that also get into the mindset of the offense there when the defense is able to make these key plays, make these key throws.
So we have another player warming up in the bullpen there for the London Majors. It's going to be number 55. And that's Victor Payano. Payano also got some time against the Cardinals side in the exhibition game on the 4th of May. One out here, top of the 7, as that fastball's in there from Daniel Gorin outside. Count should be at 1-1.
And Daniel Gore looking pretty clean so far. Trying to widen that zone on a pitch down and outside.
Not too much movement on these balls. Just throwing some heat. We'll see if he switches that up. Potentially a pitch on the inside now, as that will be further in, but it will be smoked out to the center field side. Joseph has to make a run for it, and it's going to get down. And a hit, his first of the day for Brandon Daly.
And a good hustle from Starling Joseph to get to the ball right there. If that gets by, that's an easy double, maybe even a triple on a play like that. So a good hustle to get the ball and to get it back in, too.
So Brennan Nicholson back out there, top of the order, which has seen a little bit of success in the last couple of innings. They'll look to definitely build on that here. Potential bunt opportunity will be called for a strike. The Majors already have 2 outs.
Showing bunt right there, and definitely thought it was a little bit outside. So showed a little bit of contention there, but now he's back lined up in the box.
Pardon me, that was 1 out as Gore making that throw over to Cardoso, but getting over in time is Daly, safe at first. Quite a nice breeze here, Labatt Memorial Park. We're feeling it up in the Game Day London broadcast booth.
You'll definitely see a difference in broadcasters and some who are more tech-focused versus, I think, us who are a bit more paper-focused. So breezes like that are a little scary up here in the Game Day press box. But I'll take it over a scorcher and a boiling day anyway, any day in here.
Definitely. Or a rainy day for that matter.
That's also fair. I'm sure the fans are happy about that.
We feel for the fans over in Guelph. Rained out twice already this season. As they're going to make the run. Diolio makes the throw, and he's going to get him out at second base. What a play from the all-star catcher, Eduardo Diolio.
Great throw, great attempt, exactly where you want the throw to go to. Just a little inside on the second base side towards the first base to be right there in time for when the runner ends up being right in that exact location. So great attempt. That's exactly something Diolio has been practicing too.
Fantastic play from Eduardo Diolio, one of the most aware catchers defensively in the Intercounty Baseball League, showing us why he was a first-team All-Star last year and one of the key contributors all around the ball. Fantastic player. Gore gets in there for a strike, and it's a full count with a potential to retire the side.
And that's one of the things that GM and co-owner Roop Chandradat loves talking about and loves putting into the heads of these teams is the focus on fundamentals. And you hear that word quite a lot. And that comes down to the defensive prowess as well. Because if your defense is good, it gives your pitcher confidence. If your pitcher's confident, that gives the players confident offensively, and it really just stems down from there.
Daniel Gore with some nasty stuff thrown towards the plate. A sliding ball got in there and strikes out Brandon Nicholson. Beautiful play, beautiful throw. Daniel Gore sits him down and keeps London's lead at 5.
A great amount of movement on that pitch. Even up here, it looked like it was going right down the middle until it broke pretty late in the box. Able to get that strikeout.
He's celebrating now, and rightfully so. Nasty stuff in Daniel Gore's locker. Gore, a player who's certainly contending for the 3rd or 4th starter spot, showing manager Roop Chandradat how good he can be. Formerly of Madonna University in Michigan. And a native of Tecumseh, Ontario. As we have a bit of a giveaway, some toss into the fans right now. And we're going to have a pitching change, it appears, for the Hamilton Cardinals, the 5th player in there today. And I think it's number 21, Brett Lawson. I believe it is Lawson, but he's wearing number 12 on the mound. We will get confirmation on that for you shortly.
So it looks to be number 19, Corbin Peters, here in today.
And I believe you are correct. It is Corbin Peters. We've officially got that in. And another pitching change presented by Throw, London's original knife throwing. So Peters, native of Ottawa, Ontario, also attended Grambling State University in Louisiana. He won the lone playoff game last year for the Hamilton Cardinals. In 2 games, he pitched 8 innings, 5 runs, 1 earned run. And he also gives pitching lessons at Strike Zone in Burlington, Ontario, the official training facility of the Hamilton Cardinals.
I love that, and it definitely translates into his game, the fact that he's giving lessons. He's definitely one of the better relievers on this squad so far. Previously has a career ERA of 4.11. And last season in 2023, he had a 4.50 ERA in 19 games, finished with a 2-2 record. Pitched 34 innings, had 44 strikeouts, only gave up 13 walks too, which is an impressive number to really see. So definitely one of their key guys coming out of the bullpen.
Fouled off there as this one goes to Victor Plaz back out there. Plaz having a phenomenal day thus far. A single, a double, and another single. 3 for 3 on the day with a stolen base and a run earned.
What I like from Plaz is he's definitely one of the ones who are keeping a lot.
Plaz going to take a chop at it there, but it falls right to the shortstop, or right to the second baseman. It's going to fly right over the head of the first baseman, Luis Bernardo, and the throw from Brendan Daly was way over top. So in there safely, and 4 for 4, perfect on the day, is Victor Plaz.
The Cardinals a bit lucky there that Plaz decided to hold over at first there. Could have easily maybe attempted an attempt over at second there, but they were able to get the ball back over to first in time to keep him over there.
The designated hitter, Brad Verhoeven. 1 for 3 on the day, excuse me. With a 2 RBI single. He's going to try a bunt opportunity now. Easily to first, advances the runner, but Verhoeven sacrifices himself and he'll be out. As well as Victor Plaz advancing to second base.
And for those at home wondering, pretty much the entire team across the board is willing to do bunts. That's something that each of them practiced in each of their batting practices every single day that they're out there. They usually end up trying to hit 1 or 2 to make sure that they get that form right, make sure that they get those bunts right into the ground, so when they attempt those sacrifice bunts just like that in that exact situation, they're able to do exactly what they intend and sometimes even get a base hit out of it. Anyways, as I was saying, he was kind of doing it now, but one of the best things I've been seeing about Victor Plaz is just his dancing a little bit over on second base and keeping a lot in the mindset of these pitchers.
Definitely likes the shimmy and the shuffle. Discombobulating pitchers as that ball is well inside for 2-0. And Tyler Mosher.
It's a word we don't get to say very often, discombobulating. I like that.
Bamboozle. A lot of good synonyms, and
we've said that,
nice.
And we've said shenanigans so far today, too.
Very diverse vocabulary up here in the Game Day London broadcast booth. As the ball forward chance raining down once again. 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Victor Plaz on second. Tyler Mosher up at the plate. 2 for 3 on the day. The pitch to Mosher. He's going to watch it float by him. Probably had the green light to swing if you wanted to, but it'll be 3-1 count.
And Mosher's had some very good at-bats today, too. He's been very good at fouling them off, really driving up these counts, and just trying whatever he can to get on base. Might not work every single time, but the fact that he's getting in the pitcher's heads, able to drive up that count, making it a bit easier for the guys after him as it turns over to the top of the lineup is the best thing that he can do, and it's even gotten him a run and on base today.
So a full count as Plaz faked a run there. Swung on, fouled off. And Mosher keeps himself alive.
Some great contact on that, really barreled it up, but was just a little bit late on the swing there, making it go foul.
If Hamilton wants a chance at coming back in this one, it's really crucial that they hold strong defensively, not allow any more runs. 5-run margin, definitely possible to come back from as Mosher hits one over to Daly. Daly to first to Bernardo, and Mosher is retired.
We'll see how the Majors do as the lineup turns back over to Tommy Reyes-Cruz. They've been able to do a lot with 2 outs so far in this ball game. It's been one of the best spots that they've been productively, even from both sides. The Cardinals getting a lot of action done with a 2-out count.
So 2 outs for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 7th inning. The shortstop Reyes-Cruz back in. Solid game defensively so far for the Majors. He's scored a run, had a walk, a sac fly, and an RBI double. Swings on that one, a light swing. A nice ball. That flew in there. Bit of off-speed pitch from Corbin Peters.
Checking back in with our live chat over on YouTube for the stream. We have a couple people checking out the stream from some different spots today. We have one from over in Oshawa, which is great to see. And then a little further from that, too, we have one from Preston, England, which is cool to see. Gotta love the different amounts of support that they get, not only from London fans, but from people all across the globe, too, for these London Majors.
Definitely, we appreciate you tuning in from wherever you may be. Fan from England's always great to see. The European Soccer Championships, football as they'd say, getting underway shortly next month. An exciting time for sport throughout the summer. Intercounty Baseball League.
On top of the fact that the Olympics are coming up soon, too, actually, this year as well.
Exactly. All sorts of sport going on. But if you're in London, Ontario right now, Labatt Memorial Park is the place to be. The ball forward chance coming down once again on a 3-1 count. 2 outs already. In there from Peters. It's going to be outside for ball 4. Tommy Reyes-Cruz reaches first base once again on his second walk of this afternoon.
Great at-bat, great plate discipline, able to get there. We've been seeing that across the board for the Majors, too, drawing quite a few walks to get some of these runs going, and any base is a base. They'll take it however they can get it, and especially with the speed that they show from across the entire lineup, it could very easily turn into them moving over to second. Hit-and-run situations are also on the table with this team, too.
We're sitting at ball 5 potentially right now as Gibson Krasminski's back in there. But that strike will be called for Peters and an 0-1 count. He's got players on first and third. Chance for the Majors to increase their lead even more, and that's going to poke past the first base side. And into score is Victor Plaz off the RBI single from Gibson Krasminski, also advancing Tommy Reyes-Cruz.
Just some consistency from the batting here, always keeping it going. And again, I'd like to point out with 2 outs. They've been doing that quite often so far in this game, and they've been very productive in those situations. And it looks like we're actually going to have a pinch runner come in as well. And that'll be Champ Gardner, one of the fast ones on the team, a new acquisition over this offseason. Like I said earlier in the game, very, very quick, especially on the base path. So they're happy to see him come in.
So we'll see if that affects the lineup. Later on is Starling Joseph back out there. Joseph 3 for 4 today. playing right. And Hamilton still in a tough situation. Gonna watch that go all the way back. Joseph actually gonna back a bit off the plate there, as that's in there for 1 strike, 0-1 count to Starling Joseph. Another one in there looked to be a similar position, and Peters not too pleased with that. Count evens itself up to 1-1.
And Starling didn't even flinch on that one. I didn't see an ounce of movement from him in the box there on that last pitch.
Calm, cool, and collected. As he gets a favorable 2-1 count, he's ahead. With runners still on first and third, Reyes Cruz in a scoring position. This ball in there, swung on, nice and high. And it'll be in there for an easy out. Finally, the Hamilton Cardinals able to sit down this London Majors side, but not before the Majors were able to do some damage. They increased their lead by 6, 8-2 over the Hamilton Cardinals. When we come back, we'll have 8th inning action for you. Ty White alongside Justin Koehler. You're watching Majors TV.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's the Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
Welcome back inside Labatt Memorial Park, where the second place Hamilton Cardinals taking on the first place London Majors in this presentation of the Intercounty Baseball League on Majors TV. Ty White alongside Justin Koehler with you calling the action today. Beautiful day in the ballpark, and we have a pitching change for the Majors. Number 55, Victor Payano, out there right now. And also a reminder and a special announcement as Father's Day coming up on Sunday, June 16th. We encourage you all to pack the park, the 13th annual Pack the Park for Father's Day. Tickets are officially free, and they'll be on our social media later this week for you to look into. Potentially a great present for your father coming around this Father's Day as we honor fathers all around here at Labatt Memorial Park. That coming Sunday, June 16th. So Victor Payano taking the mound right now as a swing is on, and that's going to be connected by Danny Berg. Berg pokes it out past Kresminski and Brandon Daly. And Tyler Mosher, as he'll get on for a single, his third single of the game. Batting 3 for 4. Luis Bernardo now checking back in as Payano, one of the players that already pitched against this Hamilton Cardinals side on May 4th in the exhibition game. A tall lefty with lots of pro experience throughout the organizations of Texas, Miami, and Cincinnati. From 2010 to 2019. The 1-0 from Payano. in there, swung on, and belted past Victor Plaz. Going to advance the runners. And a nice play from Luis Bernardo. He's going to get a single of his own, and 2 on now with no outs. The Cardinals are flying right back into this one. Going to check in from out-of-town scores. The Guelph Royals currently leading 8-3 over the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. The Jackfish of Welland losing to the Maple Leafs 5-2 in the bottom of the 5th. And at the top of the 5th inning in Kitchener, the Brantford Red Sox are leading 8-4. So Payano, like his catcher right now, Eduardo Diolio, hailing from San Juan de la Maguana in the Dominican Republic, as that ball is swung on, and it's going to stay fair, says the umpire. So a nice hit from Dennis Day Benning, and in around to score is going to be Danny Berg. It stays fair, and the Cardinals are back in this one. An RBI single for Dennis Day Benning, and the score is now 8-3. Nice bit of work on the plate so far, as Justin Koehler joining me back here in the broadcast booth. So we've seen 3 players get on base already: Danny Berg, Luis Bernardo, and Dennis Day Benning. Zach Marriott on the plate right now.
Well, it's one of those things, they've been showing some signs of aggression throughout the game, so I'm not terribly shocked that they've been able to string a few hits together. But, of course, the London Majors would like to keep that in check right now.
So a chance to really do well and come back here with a strong 8th inning if they can get one for them. Payano in there for strike 1.
Payano would definitely like to get a few strikeouts on the board, being one of the ones on the squad more known for those strikeouts.
Marriott takes a hack at it. Fouls it deep to the left side. Ball bounced right back into the Majors dugout. Marriott from Oakville, Ontario. Attended Hendrix College in Conway, Arkansas. 4th all-time. And a couple different statistics over at Hendrick College, as he's going to nail one out now to Payano, or to the left fielder, I should say.
That would be Champ Gardner, who came into the game. Oh, no, they've shifted around. Champ's over in center field. They have Starling Joseph over in left field, making that play right there.
So Starling Joseph in left field, and Champ Garner over in center now, taking the place of Kresminski, I think it was, and on the batting lineup.
And good on Joseph to get that ball in pretty quick to be able to hold the runners off there.
And a very nice throw from Starling Joseph, keeping this one at an 8-3 game. 5-run margin. And that one in there for a strike.
Great pitch starting outside the zone, coming right back in on that curveball with a little bit of movement on it too.
Lane Renaud out there now. After Marriott advanced the runners.
It's dropping another curveball in there. Very uncommon, and it's that sort of unpredictability that you want to put in with these batters, not knowing what pitch to come in. That people like me and the people reading it off can't even predict what pitch is going to be next.
That one was sliding in off a curve, it seemed like. Chance for Mosher to make a nice play, turning around. Cardoso couldn't handle that one, though, so it's definitely going to be an error. And one around to score. The Cardinals add another one onto their tally, and this lead getting less and less.
Cardoso giving a little movement sign over to Mosher there on a spectacular athletic play there to try and get the out at first. And I know those jumping attempts trying to get the out are incredibly difficult, so the fact that it was that close was pretty impressive, to say the least.
The throw was in time. It's unfortunate for Cardoso. He's going to want that one back to hang on to it, as Keeler Loveridge 0 for 3 on the day back out there.
And we're seeing Payano really pound the strike zone here, getting a lot of strikes in there. Sometimes that works well, sometimes that doesn't, in terms of the fact that you'll get a lot of people swinging, a lot of contact.
As he nails one out to center field, and the play's made by Champ Garner. But it will score one more easily. And number 16 waltzes his way in, Dennis Day Banning, who had an RBI single earlier in this one. The Cardinals up to 5 now, only a 3-run game with 1 out, and a much better showing offensively since the 6th inning.
Well, it's exactly what they would like, mounting those kind of late-inning comebacks there a little bit. I still wouldn't go so far as to say it's a comeback quite yet, but they're definitely making their presence known getting into the late innings of this game.
So Loveridge with that sacrifice fly, and in there now steps Andrew Johnston. 0 for 3 on the day as well. We mentioned that the latter half of the Cardinals lineup has had some trouble hitting the ball, but something they're changing towards the end of this game, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Payano with a high looming ball dropping down at the right time to record a strike there. Majors are at 2 outs here. 1 man on first base.
And again, especially with how the game got going, it's very easy to underestimate some of these teams. But at the end of the day, the Hamilton Cardinals are quite up there in the standings, right behind the Majors, with good reason. It is a good team. It is a very good ball club. And they're showing exactly why as we get towards these innings.
Strike 3 called on another one. A curveball dropping in there at the perfect time to strike out Andrew Johnston. Payano sits them down, but not before Hamilton could bring the lead a little bit back. Now at 5 runs for them. London's at a 3-run difference. Payano struggled a little bit there, got himself out of a tough situation. And Hamilton doing a lot better than early on, Justin.
Well, and all that said, they're still able to get a few more runs on the board and evening up the hits at 12 apiece. But I love the confidence there from Payano towards the end. It took him a little bit to get warmed up, clearly giving away a few of those hits, but especially towards those last 2 at-bats, and particularly that strikeout to end it off. There was a lot of confidence, a lot of good changing up the predictability of his pitches, and it clearly put these batters a bit on the defensive, not knowing what to do with some of them, and getting a strikeout.
So we'll see here if we get a bit of a pitching change, and it looks like we will. It appears to be number 23, Jacob Gadgich in there for Hamilton. The pitching changes are presented by Throw, London's original knife throwing.
And this is Gadgich's 3rd season in the IBL. He pitched in 21-22, didn't pitch at all last year, and has come back for the Hamilton Cardinals for the 2024 season. He's played 1 game so far this year, playing through 1 inning and giving away 1 walk without actually giving any hits or earned runs. So he currently sits with an ERA of 0, which is exactly what you like to see from some of your bullpen arms.
He will be the 5th Cardinal to pitch today. It has been a big relief effort. Currently a member of Northwest Missouri State. Native of Hamilton, Ontario. Attended Sir Allan McNabb High School in Hamilton.
One of those situations where it's nice for a player on a ball club to be pitching for their hometown team, too. London has a few of those, but for the Hamilton Cardinals, it's nice to have some homegrown talent there.
Definitely the team that we saw the most homegrown talent. Had to be Kitchener's side. So many players attended the University of Waterloo and the Laurier Golden Hawks.
Well, it's nice, especially for the fans' perspective. It gives them a lot of confidence in the players. It also gives them people to root for. You naturally want to root for the people who come from your own hometown because it's pretty relatable, and you almost get to kind of grow with them a little bit as they get through their seasons here in the IBL.
So, Caden Cardoso back out there now. He's done well today, 3 for 4 with a sac fly and a stolen base. Looking very much like himself today, opposed to his outing with Kitchener on Friday night. The first pitch is in there from Gadgich. That one for a ball, so a 1-0 count. Cardoso watches the second one. Float right by him. And evens things out at 1 apiece. Bottom of the 8th inning here.
The Majors would like to try and widen that gap once again with some of their key bats up to the plate.
As Cardoso hammers one back towards center field. Didn't have too much movement on it. And a routine play for Brandon Nicholson. Sitting down, Cardoso. Next for the Majors, Eduardo De Olio. He's had some good offense this game. 3 for 4 with a sac fly.
All that on top of the stellar defense that he's shown as well, getting some runners out on the base paths.
Definitely has a fantastic eye. De Olio 1 for 3 today. That was Cardoso, 3 for 4 with a sac fly. Only has 1 single, but as you mentioned, has played a stellar game defensively. That calm and patient bat waiting to just float one back there. It's parachuted into right field. And Dennis DeBanning makes the catch. 2 outs, 2 quick outs for the Hamilton Cardinals, just what they needed.
Yes, that's exactly what they've been trying to get so far in this game. They haven't been quite incredibly successful with a lot of these pitchers really driving up the pitch count, getting a bit tired up on the mound there. So this is exactly what they want to see towards the tail end of the game as they're starting to build some momentum in the run column as well.
So in steps Byron Reichstein. Also 1 for 3, who had a walk and has scored a run in this one. After De Olio's fly out. And that one outside for a 1-0 count. Gadges has recorded 2 quick outs. This one in there, called for a strike, 1-1, just like that.
And Reichstein, again, one of the key bats in this lineup with the second highest on-base plus slugging compared to the rest of the team. The only one higher than him is, not a surprise, Caden Cardoso.
That one was sliding high and inside. He says, my bad on the plate. Wanted to get that one a little bit more down than he actually did. And important here to retire the London side in order, as that one's called for a strike.
And that one down and away. Honestly, if I'm the pitcher right now, I might be trying to aim for a slider down and away because he's a lefty, or go right upstairs with a fastball on this one.
Down and away or a fastball. That one was high and inside. And a routine play to the second baseman. Daly over to Bernardo. And the Cardinals have given themselves a chance going into this 9th inning. Through 8, London leads 8-5. Can the Cardinals climb back like they've been doing all games so far? We'll find out in this 9th inning. You're watching Majors TV with Ty and Justin.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
Welcome back to Labatt Memorial Park, where the two best teams in the Intercounty Baseball League are dueling in a good one this Sunday afternoon. The Cardinals have been crawling back all game, especially since the 6th inning, and they've got themselves in a favorable position here for a comeback. Only down 3 runs. Majors lead 8-5. Victor Payano on the mound.
Well, they've made it quite an exciting game so far, especially from the get-go. In the first few innings, it was a little bit tighter, especially once the Majors got things going a whole ton in the 4th inning. But as you said, the Hamilton Cardinals have really started to mount a comeback here.
So about now for the Cardinals is number 97, Brandon Daly, towards the bottom of their order as Payano in there for strike 1.
And again, this is the exact guy that they want on the mound in this situation with the amount of strikeouts he can get consistently.
As count evens out at 1 apiece.
You can tell DeOlio wanted that pitch a little bit, holding that framing for an extra split second.
Payano is someone who certainly could be one of the top pitchers in all of the league. And someone who is an extraordinary player, very trustworthy, having a lot of pro experience, and an import for this Majors team. A 2-1 count, no outs. The top of the 9th inning, everything could end here with 3 outs.
Well, and it goes to show not just a lot for his own experience, but the experience that he can transfer over to some of these other players as well, being a veteran arm, not just in the IBL, but across a lot of baseball as well.
Fastball sees Daly swinging. And a 2-2 count, opportunity for a strikeout here. The crowd clapping, ramping up. In there, swung on. It's going to go just narrowly foul in front of the feet of Caden Cardoso. Keeping himself alive is Brendan Daly. Count still at 2-2.
And that one, just broke foul. Was pretty late on it there. But I'm sure he'll take it, have another chance for another solid hit here.
The count remains at 2 apiece. And the delivery from Payano on the way, swung on, fouled hard and back. And staying alive again is Brandon Daly.
And that one right inside on the hands. Again, he's really moving this pitcher's eyesight a lot kind of out and in, kind of the left and right side of the strike zone here. And that's often how you get them swinging it a lot. You don't get good contact or foul offs, just like we just exactly saw.
Payano on the 2-2. In there, strike 3 called. Off a curveball. That dropped perfectly. And here retires Brandon Daly for the first out. Majors need 2 more.
Can never say how much I love seeing those curveballs drop into the zone. Always gives me a nice big smile on my face when they get it for a called strike.
So our friend Justin will be heading down. He'll have an interview with you with our player of the game at the conclusion of this one. As the batter taking a second here to get ready, it will be a pinch hitter. It looks like coming in. Strike called against Brandon Nicholson from Payano. And the count's at 0-1. Payano doing a good job so far, taking in this role of trying to close this one out. With a nice save, another ball. That one a hanging curveball. Could have been dangerous and swung on smartly by Nicholson, but he was a little bit early to the party. As Hamilton desperately needs players on base here. Count at 0-2, strikeout opportunity for Payano. Payano in there. A high fastball. Count out 1-2 now. And smartly waited on by Nicholson. The 1-2 from Payano, curveball going in there. It's chopped off. Rolled back and fouled to the back right side near the Cardinals dugout. And keeping himself alive is Brandon Nicholson. The crowd heating up. Nicholson of Orchard Park, New York, trying to do some damage. He's going to hit one right out to center field. All day, that's Champ Gardner's ball. And just like that, 2 are gone. 1 more out needed for the London Majors. Little bit of action of their bullpen. But hopefully they won't need the help today of Skylar Janice. And we'll see if Payano can close things out. Perhaps for the last time today, Danny Berg checks in. He has scored a run in this one. And is 2 for 4 with a stolen base and 2 singles. Payano in there. That one fouled off by Reed. Down to the third base side. And the Majors with a performance of some considerable strength today, showing why they are the #1 team in the Intercounty Baseball League. And one of the toughest teams to play on home turf. As that one is fouled high, or put in high, I should say. It's going to drop out. That one definitely an error, a mistake getting behind there as Reyes Cruz was backtracking it. Starling Joseph didn't call him off. And it drops right in between the two, so the Cardinals are granted a gift here at the top of this 9th inning, as that just falls in perfectly off the hit from Danny Berg. He walks on with a single. So that single from Danny Berg makes things a little bit more interesting here. Still have to deal with those 2 outs, though, and the strong heat being tossed on from Payano. The first pitch to Luis Bernardo from Payano, in there for ball 1. Definitely could use the talents of Bernardo here, a pretty good hitter so far in the season. 2 for 4 today with a run scored and a sac fly. As Payano gets a little loose, wiggles the fingers. Still a 3-run lead so far for the London Majors. All they need 1 more out. Payano in there. Deolio trying to pick off his man. He will! What a play from Eduardo Deolio. Gets the ball to first base. And Caden Cardoso makes the tag to ensure a London Majors victory. What a play from the all-star catcher. Over to the fantastic first baseman. And they punch out Luis Bernardo to close this one out. So the Majors avoid the Cardinal comeback and come out victorious today with a final score of 8-5 here at Labatt Memorial Park. We're going to throw it down shortly to Justin Koehler, who will be standing by with our player of the game. Not going to spoil that just yet, but what a fantastic performance considering the London Majors had their undefeated streak snapped by the Kitchener Panthers on Friday night. They have done a fantastic job today, got back things in normal, saw some great pitching from Keys, Daniel Gore, and Payano, as well as some prolific hitting performances across the board. Tommy Reyes Cruz, Starling Joseph did fantastic. He went 3 for 4 on the day. Caden Cardoso, 3 for 5, with a sac fly and a walk. Eduardo Deolio only had 1 hit today, but it's such a tremendous job defensively, having 1 pickoff and then 2 pickoffs to end and close this one out at first base. What a fitting way for this one to end. So now we're going to send it down the third base line. It's Justin Koehler standing with our player of the game, number 25, Travis Keys.
And so I'm here with starting pitcher Travis Keys. Travis, spectacular outing. First off, how did you feel about that outing across the board for you?
Oh, it felt good. I mean, we kept him off balance. Me and Deolio worked well, so good outing.
I know this is your second good outing in a row, but the first time in front of the home crowd. How did it feel being here at home having an outing like that?
It's awesome, man. I've pitched here before, but not with a crowd like this, and it's a great environment.
Always great for everyone across the board, and a great showing. Again, congratulations on the win. Great game. Let's send it back up to Ty in the game day press box to wrap us up.
Thanks so much for that, Justin. Really appreciate it. Fantastic job, and what a performance by the London Majors today in front of this home crowd. Pretty good crowd for a Sunday afternoon, and they made it exciting baseball at least. Taking a look a little bit forward now to what's to come for the London Majors. At home on Friday, May 31st, they're taking on the Brantford Red Sox right here at Labatt Memorial Park. Then they go on the road June 1st to face off against the Welland Jackfish, the 2023 defending IBL champions, and then back home again to face the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. That should be a good one. Ended 15-12 last time in Chatham-Kent. For everyone here at the London Majors TV and broadcast crew, thanks so much for tuning in. The London Majors come out victorious today, 8-5 in a final over the number 2 place Hamilton Cardinals. For Justin Koehler, I'm Ty White. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great Sunday afternoon.